And we're live.
That's your cue, Joe.
No, that's you. You're starting us off, remember?
No, I thought you said you were starting off.
I said you. I said Tyler will start us off. So
All right, well, Joe's checking his profile. All right, well, if you hadn't figured it out yet, this is Fans of Power. I don't know what episode it is, but it's a brand new episode, and that's all that matters at this point.
Number 145. There we go.
145. We're close to 150. I'll be damned. All right, 145. Thank you, Nasty Nate. Yes, 145 of Fans of Power. I'm Tyler Bake. Joe Amato was here, and our producer, Nathan Kennedy, will be joining us momentarily after he takes a big shit. You hate me for that one there. We're here to before this is our fan appreciation. We tried to do this at least once a year. You know, if it does well, I mean, this one does well. Who said we couldn't do it a couple times a year? But this is our third fan appreciation episode, and we'll be getting into fan questions after we kind of discuss what the shenanigans were and goings-ons of the PowerCon that went on, or that's still currently going on, while me and Joe were sitting in our homes, in our caves of power, our He-Man caves, instead of hanging out and chewing the fat and discussing the wonders of He-Man with Danielle and Axel and Val and James and so on and so forth, and the many that.
We'll definitely get into all that good stuff. But first, you're right. Let's say hello to some of the people that are in the chat room. We have Zentron. We have Adam Gabbert. We have Brad Collins. We have Zen Brown and Kevin Sharp. And let me just scroll down just to make sure.
Hey, Kevin's here. All right.
Exactly. And also, we say birthday boy in the building for Zen Brown. Well, happy birthday. And also I want to say happy belated birthday to JSP, who usually joins us in the chat room as well. So his birthday was yesterday. So I guess, got some birthdays this weekend for, PowerCon, huh?
I like that. We're like the local news. We got to do our birthday shout outs for people joining us here on the podcast. That's happy birthday to both those guys. That's
exactly.
That's pretty cool.
If we had food coupons, we'd send them to you. We'll see that on TV where it's like, Wendy's would like to say happy birthday to this person and this person.
Yeah.
And since you're part of the birthday club, you get a free Frosty. So, but no free Frosties or anything like that. But before we do get into all fan questions, like I said, this episode's all for you guys. So you can just post as many questions as you want in the chat room. We'll cover them all. We also have some questions from earlier. But we're just going to get into some of the PowerCon stuff because, wow, I tell you, whether there's things people loved or hated, you can't deny that they had something for almost every fan that you can imagine, meaning the little Mega Construct figures that they showed. And they showed some new ones like Stratos, Scareglow, I couldn't remember who else, but needless to say, they had some Mega Constructs. They showed some unique, like maybe multi-packs of all of them. They showed a Mega Constructs Wind Raider. It's like, okay, damn, there you go. That's pretty cool. So they got something for fans that might want those. Then, out of nowhere, they showed Giants, and you remember Maddie releasing those Giants just a little while ago. Where they had, He-Man and Skeletor and Zodak. Well, now they're showing, it's like, well, the good thing is, some people absolutely hated the face sculpt on that He-Man for the Maddie Giant. Out of all the Giants, for some reason, his face was just off for that one that was, released years ago. Well, now they have one that looks exactly like the vintage head, and they're going to use that body to not only do He-Man, but do Prince Adam, do a Wonder Bread He-Man that has the black Zodak armor, to do a Faker, and also do a Slime Pit He-Man. And I'm not sure if I was missing any of them, but these are Giants. Now, all these things, of course, it's not like set in stone to where, bam, you are getting them. This is all stuff of where you got a hashtag Mattel, we want more Masters, we want more She-Ra, we want more of this, whatever. There's a lot of different hashtags. But they showed that. Then they showed more of the 12-inch dolls that they had, where they had, you remember they had She-Ra a few years ago. Well, now they showed Glimmer, they showed Catcher, they showed Evelyn, they showed the Sorceress, and they showed He-Man. Now, out of everybody that was shown, as at least what I've seen from a lot of posting groups, and including when I just seen stuff on my wall, everybody enjoyed the looks of the dolls, but they didn't really get much into He-Man because they like his loincloth, it's going to be actual fur. On his boots, it's going to be fur. But it's like, I couldn't tell what direction they were going, meaning, okay, if this is a doll line and every one of the females has cloth and also has rooted hair, He-Man has sculpted hair, and it looks strange within the context of the line. And it's the one that people aren't really that pleased about. They love the looks of all the other dolls, but people are having issues with the design of He-Man. Again, these are concepts, they're not set in stone. I'm quickly, like I said, rambling, and then of course me and Tyler will discuss the stuff. But so they showed that as well. So they showed 3 different styles of stuff like that. Then here came I gotta get Super 7. The one thing I got a kick out of Super 7. Well, first they showed Eldor and Hero, and they showed them like how they would look on their package. And thank God they're gonna have the Power of Grayskull's packaging. So that's a super plus. But people have been saying about Eldor, they said, why does his head or his hood look gigantic and his beard looks kind of pointed, like something looks strange? Again, I'm not there in person to really tell. I can't get the angles of it, but I'm sure hopefully before it's released, it'll look, hopefully perfect. And Hero, people have been questioning, will he have the gold chrome armor that he was supposed to have? Because that wasn't shown. I guess we'll find out. But they had one thing that I got a kick out of. They showed a robot He-Man, of course, from the episode where Man-at-Arms had to make the
Disappearing Act.
There you go. Where he had to make the robot He-Man to take the place of He-Man. And when you've seen that crazy robot face, they're going to do that in their old in the 5.5-inch style, along with they showed packaged Beastman and Man-at-Arms in the Filmation 5.5-inch style. Beyond that, I don't think Super 7 showed anything else, but I may be wrong, and that's where I'll pass it to you, and we can give our thoughts on all the lines. But was there anything else from Super 7?
No.
So the word, okay, yeah, because I know a lot of people were waiting. No, really, they're waiting for 6.5.
I don't have anything else to say about it. I got
Nah.
more negative to share than anything. I don't have as much positive as I was banking on having a lot of positive things to say. Just because I assumed, and maybe that's my problem, I just assumed there would be better things revealed.
Were you hoping to see 6.5-inch, the other classics figures? Oh, wait. I didn't mean to interrupt you. One more thing that I was going to mention about the reveals. First, also, hello to Jobber DG in 1975 Wolverine, and I think I said hi to JD Gibson. I just want to make sure. And Grimbot's here as well, as is Alberto Merto. I hope I said your last name right. I pray I did. And Motu fan number 1 is here. So thank you all for joining us. But the good piece of news is Mattel, not Super 7, Mattel also showed Jaga, and they showed...
I was wondering if you were going to bring that up, but since it's not technically He-Man, but...
Yeah, well, I have to, because people wonder about Jaga and Groom. They were figures that we were expected to get way back when Mattel was doing the Thundercats Classics figures. Well, now Mattel is still doing, not Super 7, Mattel is. So it looks like there could be, obviously, is there interest, and are they going to make now more Thundercats figures? Because people were clamoring for those, saying, man, there's so many we didn't get, and I want them in that 6.5-inch style. So it looks like it's a possibility, and I'm sure you've seen that, which is great, to finally get those and the rest of them. But you go ahead, Tyler.
I'm not quite sure where they're getting their info from. I feel like anybody in the toy/animation industry ought to know, after the backlash to the Thundercats Roar trailer that was put out, just how rabid Thundercat fans are to have something that treats it with respect. And I hope they're not wondering, do people still want more Thundercat Classics? And then throw out tons and tons and tons and tons of He-Man variant after variant after variant after variant after variant. And we're like, those giant size figures, they were still on sale. I mean, for who knows how long. They couldn't get rid of those things. Not to mention having a giant figure that doesn't have the mini comic in the back of it. It just looks so incomplete. I just felt like that's something that, I know some people liked them, but they weren't like a fan demanded thing. It was just kind of like a novelty people thought was kind of cool, but didn't really pay off. And I'll tell you what the problem is with He-Man's doll is He-Man being a doll. He's not supposed to be a damn doll. So that's your first mistake, let alone the fact that he just looks like a very emasculating version of He-Man. He looks very small and compact, and with excessively furry loincloth and boots, he looks disproportional. He looks completely wrong. He's got no business being a part of. I mean, hell, with all the female characters between He-Man and She-Ra, why do they feel like we got to throw He-Man in there? It's like we got to make He-Man a Ken doll. It doesn't. You don't just, if you want to do the whole female doll thing, throw in Glimmer, Castaspello, Frosta, Catra, Shadow Weaver, Queen Elmora. I mean, Lady Valkyria. God, the list goes on and on of women that you could put in a doll line if that's what you want to do. But He-Man needs to go. I do not want to see the most powerful man in the universe and my favorite fictional character of all time presented as a doll. And I was thrilled to hear about Hero and Eldor finally being greenlit. Their pre-orders will be after that. All right, finally we're on the road to that. But then I just wasn't too thrilled with everything else that was displayed. I'm just kind of like underwhelmed with just more variants. I know we were told about Beastman and Man-at-Arms, but I still kind of feel like we're still getting more variants. Like, why can't we get an Icer, a Strong Arm, a Lizard Man, or a Malacta, or a Slamurai in, vintage form? I just feel so underwhelmed when we're still being given, hey, are you interested in more variants, people? And it's just like I can't get excited about that. I'm just tired of the same stuff being presented all the time. If they want to venture into new territories, but they just want to keep giving us the same stuff over and over again. So I'm sure for people that were there, it was great to see all that stuff, but being here on the other side of the country and hoping to see Collector's Choice, and with Mattel being there, you think they're going to have some bigger plans, and it's just those giants that don't leave any impression on me, just more variants. I hope to God they're not just going to finish with just Grun and Jaga, because I want Rotaro, I want the Berserkers, I want the Lunatacs, I want Pumara and Bengali and Pumara. I mean, not Chitara. Kevin knows what I'm talking about.
Did we even get Tigra? Did Tiger even come out?
No, we haven't got Tiger either. So I just held the core group of Thundercats alone in the three mutants in Mom Ra and Ever Living form. To not have those, I feel like
we need the Ever Living, if anything. Definitely, we need living form. That'd be massive.
Yeah, they can't. I really hope that's their way of saying, look, we're sorry we let it go. That was due to poor management on our part, due to some goof who decided, I don't want to do Thundercats anymore. We got to do more Hot Wheels and Barbies.
Yeah, because I don't know all the behind the scenes stuff. I mean, first let me say hello to Fedmon, Jason Lafferty in the chat room as well. They joined us, and so did Delvis78 and He-Man World. Hey, I wonder who He-Man World is. But no,
I have no idea. Maybe he's a captain of something. I bet he's a captain. Yeah.
It could be. But no, so thank you all for joining us. But yeah, that's when I don't really, like I said, when it comes to all the rights and things, I've just seen so many fans, it's, they're quite confused. I mean, like anybody would be wondering, okay, we thought Mattel was possibly done and Super 7 was taking over everything. But then you're seeing Mattel come back with other things and possible lines that could be. But then I don't know, what does that mean? It's like, do they only have the rights to do certain kind of variants?
Well, remember like with Super 7, they couldn't do Thundercats because Warner Bros. Wanted too much money for the license to do Thundercats. So Super 7 just said, okay, we'll just stick with He-Man. So, I mean, Mattel's got the money to do that, which obviously one of the higher ups felt that they need to continue on with Thundercats, and hopefully by saying, here's Grun and Jaga, who you were supposed to have gotten, that's our way of saying, are you guys, we want to still do this. We need you guys to show support for it so we can continue on with this, and hopefully they'll let the Horsemen continue on and do what they do best. And
I'm sure there's going to be a demand, and I think that the Thundercats Classics line is definitely going to be hot and continue. But see, it also goes to other things, to, where I don't know how rights work with meaning even scales of things, because I've seen so many people, okay, for an example, with Funko showing all those 5.5-inch styles of upcoming Thundercats, Conan, the horror figures, did Mortal Kombat, and Zorn, some people said, wow, I'd love to see Funko do 5.5-inch He-Man, but Funko's the one that's doing 5.5-inch there. And then also at one time, I thought Brian Flynn, when they were saying, hey, do you think it's possible that we could see other figures in the 5.5-inch scale like you're doing with the Filmation, He-Man figures? And he made it sound like we were hoping to get Thundercats, but somebody got it. So I'm thinking, does he mean because of Funko? Maybe. See, that's when I don't know. I mean, can certain companies only have basically the rights of making certain scales? Or was he referring to, and he couldn't let it out of the bag, of saying, well, Mattel's going to be making 6.5.
Maybe that's the case. Maybe that's the case, because I'd imagine Warner Brothers does a separate license for Funko to do the 5.5, and then a separate license to Mattel to do the classic style, because they're two different size figures, two different figures altogether.
Yeah, it's like mind blowing.
Yeah. So it's just, but it just sounded like they were just asking too much for Super 7 to do business with.
Do you think there's a possibility, hypothetically, again, now we know at one time with all the Maddie exclusives, remember that was an online, set of figures that you could get, you couldn't buy at the stores. I'm just wondering, though, with Mattel, like, let's hypothetically say that they did get the green light and they started doing the Giants, and also those
Mm.
dolls, and also those maybe some 5.5-inch figures for themselves if they wanted, because they teased with smaller ones of those. Would those maybe go to retail, and also would it mean a cheaper price, because we knew we were paying a higher price for the online exclusive because it was just that, it was exclusives. But by taking it to retail, could it lower it, just like other companies have a kind of cheaper set of prices at the stores compared to online? You know, since it could be mass produced. That's what I mean. I mean, God forbid, there's no way I would want to walk into the store, see all those Giants and pay 75, 75, 75. Like, dear God, I remember they popped up at GameStop, I think, when they started getting clearanced out, and they were 20 or 25 bucks. You know, something like that could maybe invite people more in to buy, but those prices of 75, I think they'd be too scary for people to want to keep going. And plus, I just couldn't picture having a new line dedicated to hypothetically 20 to 50 Giants. I mean, looking back, I mean, there's no room. Could you picture anybody having 50 of these Giant figures?
Well, yeah, and not to mention nothing but variants. It's all variants. You know, we're not getting Spike or Clamp Champ or Blade or Clawful or Jitsu. It's just advertising a bunch of He-Mans. And I'm not interested in a Slime Pit He-Man. I don't need another Anti-Attorney He-Man. I don't need a Giant Prince Adam. I'm not that I'm saying to take that option away from fans. I just kind of feel like
you feel like you want something new or different, a new character.
Give us something else, you know. I just feel like, look, they tried that card. It wasn't a giant success because, you just said, they had to dump the things. They were still lingering around on Matty Collector till the site closed down. It clearly looked like they just weren't a big, because the price point was too much. They're big items. It's almost like you could get maybe one character or two characters, something like, I don't know. I just felt it's just like be more of stuff that just wasn't a hot item when it was presented the first time. Like, I'm sure people thought it was cool, but not cool enough to collect, you know, and to just see that.
You're right. Even the same thing with that Giant, I mean, with the She-Ra doll, which was freaking awesome with all the different interchangeable stuff she had. But when she was first shown, it was as a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. Again, I think 75 bucks. Then they ended up with like over 1,000, close to 2,000 overstock of her. What did they do? They put her at clearance on the Matty website for like 25 bucks or something. Then people were snatching them up. Again, that line it looks cool, but I think you'd have to put that in retail. And if you put them at the price of 20 to 25 bucks, and if, let's say, even the highest degree 30, they could probably sell those pretty well. But if they were to say, okay, you're going to get Catcher, and now you're going to get Natasha and all these, and they're 75 bucks, that's a lot of money. I think it's all going to come to the price, and if these things are retail or if they're online or what they're doing with them.
Yeah, if they're going to do it, they can't expect to just gouge fans because assume that all He-Man fans have got endless deep wallets packed with cash that just charge whatever you want. We're all foolish and throw whatever, you know, we'll throw anything you want at us. It's just, you know, if that hadn't shown you before that these items, they may look cool, but they're not practical, and the prices they aren't helping. So I'm hoping if they're going to push through with it, they're going to make it worthwhile for fans to feel like they can feel comfortable enough to support something like that, and it not just go fail, and then Mattel continues to look, well, I guess these fans just aren't as hardcore as we thought. You know, they don't want to buy our giant He-Man figures and our dolls. Well, can the line, put it in the vault. We'll go back. We'll bring Max Steel back or something like that. You know, I really hope that they're not just assuming that this, you know, Barbie / we can't do anything unless it's the same mold over and over again mentality. You know, it worked so well for them in the 80s. I just hope they will continue to not think that if it ain't a variant, we can't sell it. You know, I just felt like Mattel has carried that mentality for so long with a lot of the toys. Not all of them, but they really push the variants. Of course, that's a common practice with all toy lines. But man, sometimes I just feel like Mattel really pushes it hard.
Yeah, again, I would love to know more of all the behind-the-scenes stuff and legal issues of why they do things. But like I said, I commend them at least for they showed up and they gave you a lot of different scales of things that possibly, with fan interest, could happen. And again, they might not even happen at all. But it was just different for the eyes. Like I said, seeing so many different scales from Mega Constructs to the Giants, the dolls, the 5.5-inch stuff from Super 7. I mean, there was quite a variety of things. But I guess, again, we'll see how it goes with what fans think when they say we want this, hashtag whatever it may be they want. But again, has to be a good price point, And if it was at retail, you might have a good chance of selling a lot. Maybe it could lead to bigger and better things, possibly. So,
Well, yeah, and I will say this: if everything that I was, against tonight is that sold at a decent price point sells well, then you know what, I got no complaints. But I felt like with a lot of stuff, like you said too, was all sold too high. They couldn't get rid of it, and here they are again. So I've said my piece, and I won't say anything else about it until a price is announced. Not that I have no intentions of buying diamonds, because I thought they were kind of cool, but then I have like a fake mini comic backing in the package. It just looked so without some sort of fill-in.
It helps. It does.
behind
It
the
helps.
figure.
It does help with the display, because not to whore myself, because I usually don't do that on the podcast, but I'll say something, is when I made a giant scare glow for John Itis. When I had to sculpt the head, I made a cape, but what I did, I made a big giant mini comic of the search for Keldor and put that cover and back, and it sure did jazz up the packaging. So yeah, if they had some faux mini comic, however you pronounce that, that would be kind of cool. But also, before we start getting into all these fan questions, I want to say hello to Jason Bean, Justin Hune, Eric Amon, and T-Dog have also joined us in the chat room. So thank you all for joining us. And well, like I said, we're going to start getting into fan questions, anything you want to ask. But before we get those, we might have somebody who records a show for us join us as well. And plus, we had some online questions that we had from Facebook that we'll do first, and then we'll get to yours. But maybe, Nathan, would you like to join us for the fan part of the show?
Yeah. Hello. I'm here.
All right. Goodbye. That was good enough. Get off the show.
All right. Well, see you guys later. It's been a lot of fun.
Brilliant. Where does he come up with these cute questions and answers?
Exactly. So, all right. Well, Tyler, why don't you start off with one of the questions you received, from who it was, what it was, and we can cover that.
I got two from Dell Short, and I can just throw them out to you both. Dell wanted to know what kind of archetypes that we have yet to see in Master of the Universe. Like kinds of characters, like for me, he mentions like centaurs or a giant of some kind, and also who'd win in a fight between Merman and the Tiger Sharks.
Okay, well, to cover the first one, I've always said it, and I'll say it again. I just think some kind of gargoyle-looking warrior would look so damn cool within, maybe an ability you could hide within, some of the stone structures and then come out to be then, alive. I don't know, a gargoyle. There's a lot of different options, but I don't know, a gargoyle always seemed to attract me after. I think Chris Pacone did an amazing gargoyle concept years ago that looked freaking amazing. And after he did that, it's really stuck in my head. I think that's why I haven't even done a custom of one. It's like of course, nobody owns the rights to gargoyle designs, but I always felt like, man, if I make a gargoyle, I feel like I'd be copying Chris's design. So that's why I actually haven't done one, believe it or not. But a gargoyle would be kind of cool.
I'd like to see a werewolf, of course, an evil bug. Like, I know Hordak has Mosquito, but I always felt Skeletor needed someone that could fly. So I almost feel like an evil counterpart to Buzz-Off, like an actual fly, kind of like, and not, kind of like Baxter Stockman or Jeff Goldblum's fly.
Yeah.
A very gross, gangly fly, that flies around and does spy work
It's
and
funny you
surveillance
say
for
that.
Skeletor.
And you know what's even bizarre about that? I couldn't remember if it was a hero or a villain, but do you remember? I think I don't know which Toy Story, if it was part 2, but they did a character called Twitch, and it was a green fly warrior, and it was based on basically a He-Man design that they made. Yeah, it's bizarre. You say a fly, and they did a fly. I just couldn't remember if it was a hero or a villain, but yeah, I think a fly would look kind of freaky, actually.
Yeah, I just kind of felt like Skeletor just someone that would fly for him. Now, granted, I mean, there's a different concept. You could do a bat character, like a flat out actual bat, but I think a bug, like some sort of, which I know there's in the Hero Bible, I think for like the new villains and stuff like that, there was a bug eye or something like that. There I think there was a concept for an evil bug character, but one that would fly and that would be like like how Jitsu and Fistu are. This guy would be like an evil warrior to Buzz-Off, and kind of setting a rivalry. Yeah,
I agree, because I used to say it too. I was like, man, I never realized. I mean, we have Stratos, we have Buzz-Off, the heroes that can fly. I was like, Skeletor doesn't have an evil flying warrior. I used to think of that as a kid all the time. I was like, nobody flies. It sucks, but oh yeah, that would be good. And real quick, the next question that you said where it'd be Merman against a Tiger Shark. That's where
he said Merman against the Tiger Sharks, which I'm assuming I don't know if he meant all the villains or all the heroes or or what, but I'm always going to pick a He-Man character over any other crossover, just because He-Man's at the top of the mountain. He's like the Shao Kahn on the Mortal Kombat ladder. Like, that's the top of the mountain. And Merman, in my eyes, would defeat all the villains of Tiger Sharks, all the heroes of Tiger Sharks.
The reason I bow out of that question myself is because I don't even remember Tiger Sharks that well from when I was a kid, so I know nothing of their mythos.
I don't know much about him. I've seen, like the intro. I've seen a lot of the toys. I've seen some of them in person. I mean, they're awesome. It's an awesome looking cartoon and great looking toys, but not to say that it wouldn't be a great fight. But I'm always going to pick Merman just because, he's the evil ocean warlord, master of the sea. So therefore, in my eyes, he would be triumphant no matter what.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I, again, have no clue. Nathan, if you want to pop in to say your 2 cents, if you actually know the Tiger Sharks or what you think, because I know nothing.
I know nothing on the Tiger Sharks. I think that a Chris Pratt version in 5.5 inch.
Is that why you did this? Wait, I think I just figured out. I'm going to list something to everybody because Nathan was like, hey, you think maybe I could join you for this episode of the Fans of Power? We could talk. I was like, hey, yeah, that'd be great. After I gave him some shit, of course. And now I see why. See, he wants to turn this into a half-hour side rant. He loves bringing up Chris Pratt because he knows that's Tyler's trigger. When he hears it, Tyler usually loses his mind. So is that going to work, Tyler, or are you not going to bite, I hope?
I don't think he's going to bite on this one.
No.
He's quiet. That means he's not biting.
I'm not even going to dignify that bullshit with an answer.
There you go. Okay. Well, again, before we get to, I'm going to answer or try to do a couple of these questions before I forget, and then we can still get back to. I'll tell you what, we'll get back to some of the ones that were sent to us because I want to try to keep up with what's going on in the chat.
Yeah, let's do it.
But yeah, Motu fan number 1 says, "How do you guys feel about the reproduction weapons that people are now producing for the vintage toy line?" Well, I mean, I guess if you if you mean like if somebody's needing a staff for Scareglow or a certain weapon and somebody can mass produce those or, do it for people who maybe can't afford them online and if they're cheaper, I mean, I think that's great. I mean, obviously, if somebody is not trying to sell it as official because that can at times leads to confusion and stuff. But if people are just doing this and letting people know, hell, this is a custom, it's a repro, and hey, you need it for that figure and it's a cheaper price, I see nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's great that fans can help each other out for, doing something like that. I don't know about you, Tyler, but I think that's fine.
Yeah, I'm cool with that because I've seen weapons when I do searches on eBay and stuff, and some of those scalpers. I mean, they're really trying to gouge people. Oh, it's a vintage weapon, $35, $10, $15, just for the weapon. I just, if you want to increase the price if it comes with a figure, fine. But the charge so much for just the weapon, it's just.
I think the Horde Trooper staff. Yeah, I remember the trooper staffs for the Horde Troopers at one time. They were going for like $25 each for a staff. I was like, Jesus, that's for a damn staff. And to find that goofy little pistol for the Castle Grayskull weapons rack, that was like going 30 to 50 at times when eBay was going nuts with it. So, hell, if you can repro that little pistol for somebody for, $5 or something, go right ahead.
I'd rather support a guy that's just doing it to help fans out. It wants to make a little extra cash. I'd support that instead of going on eBay and supporting some. I've always look at scalpers as like the equivalent of like the Nazis to Indiana Jones. Scalpers are like that to us He-Man fans and toy collectors. Like they're just guys who are just in it for the money. It belongs in a museum, so do you. That kind of mentality, that's like we're all Indiana Joneses. There's always a Belloc asshole there who's trying to take what we got and charge a whole lot of money for it. That's what, and then he's got a bunch of naked natives running around to do his bidding for him too. So,
I think that it's fine until if it comes across if they start doing the repros and then passing them off on eBay as originals, then that's when it really becomes a problem. And that happens a lot, especially with vintage video games. Happens all the time. You look on there for a cart, and some people have got them on eBay, and then it turns out that it's just a fake reproduction. So
yeah,
as long as they do it for the fans, then that's.
No, and it's true, and that's even the case half the time with customs. There was a time when somebody made a beautiful looking vintage Shadow Weaver and put it on a custom carded vintage Masters of the Universe card back. And this was, early on in the days of eBay and the internet, and some people were thinking, I didn't know Shadow Weaver came out, and they would bid on this thing and go up to $800, $900, and this person nowhere in the listing ever said this was a custom or put a logo on a custom card. Somebody was calling them out on eBay saying, that's not real. This is a custom. You should, tell people that's misleading. after that, you started seeing, bam, logos on things. I've done it from the start. I've never wanted to come across as saying, hey, look at this, man. You guys are getting official vintage, Icer or Fang Man. It's like, no, I'll put that logo on there to let you know it's a custom. So, yeah, because things can, they can get shifty at times. But, all right, well, thank you for that one. Now, this one is, let's see, Zentron. He just said, Lion-O versus He-Man. Well, I got to go He-Man, but, the thing is, I always say, see, when people want to go nuts saying, man, this was so great, because that Thundercats He-Man crossover was just, as much as
it wasn't a crossover.
It was an abomination. It was an abomination. The art I loved, but what did they have to do? They had to make a part in that comic where somehow Lion-O gets power where he's just as strong as He-Man. I'm like, see, you did this. Now when they have these versus battles, everybody's going to say, look at this scene in that comic. They showed Lion-O was just as strong as He-Man. No, He-Man, that's the person I'm choosing. Of course, he's the most powerful man in the universe, but no, against Lion-O, I think he'd take him out. I'm not saying Lion-O sucks, because Lion-O is a fantastic character, but combining and crossing those two universes, I'd say, yes, He-Man would take the edge, but that's what I'd say.
I'm making it a draw because I love Lion-O so much, and I would have the fight end abruptly, kind of like how in Marvel versus DC, where the fight between Captain America and Batman was broken up due to a overflow of water in the sewer when they're in the middle of fighting, so there was no clear winner. That's how I would do with that, because I don't want to deliberately sit there and say that He-Man would just crush Lion-O, because I look at it from their kind of personalities, that they're good guys. They're not cold-blooded killers.
Oh no, I never
Yeah, but I see it as that, strength-wise, I think He-Man is clearly stronger. Not to say that Lion-O is going to give him a good long fight, but I'm just going to make it a fight that ends abruptly, because I don't want to see He-Man topple Lion-O, but Lion-O's definitely not going to topple Skeletor. I mean, He-Man. That's just, Lion-O won't beat He-Man, but I guess that's my way of saying, it would probably.
You're pretty much picking He-Man.
I know. Like I said,
but I'm saying they were fighting, and the last punch that gets thrown would be by He-Man. But before Lion-O could get back up, the fight ends abruptly by an invasion of the mutants or the evil warriors come in, so they can't actually finish the fight, and then they're forced to team up.
All right, so, I gotcha.
That's how I would do it. Because it's just one of those things. It's fun to see them fight, but you know what? It serves no purpose to make a clear winner, because Thundercat fans are going to feel one way, He-Man fans are going to feel another. I love both those properties with all my heart, so that's the kind of fight that I would say if I was given the pen to write a dignified and intelligent He-Man Thundercat crossover.
I would give the edge to He-Man unless it's Lion-O from Thundercats Roar, then it's definitely Lion-O.
Oh yeah, because He-Man just killed himself.
Tyler, have you
impale himself on the power sword and ended it right there.
Have you caught on what's going on, Tyler? Nathan's doing it every time now. He's trying triggers. Well, this next one,
it's like Sean interviewing Jim Cornette, just asking, hey, so who's on your shit list? Like, all you're doing is just doing same things to just stir me up.
He's doing it. He's doing it on purpose. Well, this one, I know we won't have much to say on this one. This one, it's an interesting thing that I remember noticing, and I don't know if it's just, let's say, again, an artist seeing something, maybe not knowing what to draw and why to draw something with, but Brad Collins said he just noticed last night that on the card art for the vintage Hordak figure with Hordak, he has Skeletor's Havoc staff. He said, your thoughts on that? Did you know? Did you care? Well, no, I did. And no, I kind of care because I always think, well, that's weird. What the hell is Hordak doing with Skeletor's Havoc staff? And did he give it to him? As a kid, your mind does kind of race because I'm like confused. I do remember seeing that. And I always wondered, why does he have that? Because it's not like he gave it to him or it was his weapon. Not in any of the canons we've seen in the cartoon or any of the comics we read, at least, unless my memory is fuzzy. But I thought it was cool, at least for card art, cool. But yeah, maybe it was just the artist just getting a bunch of figures and maybe he, for some reason, had this Havoc staff. I don't know.
I think it tends to be the at least the biggest reason with all the inconsistencies that we see in the various types of canons and media, where the artists are just given a pile of toys. They don't know what goes with what or who goes with what faction. Yeah. So just draw it in there. But I'm sure we could turn that into a story where, the Havoc staff was really the prize of Hordak, and bestowed it upon his apprentice, who would then turn on him, take the Havoc staff, and go to Eternia. So in that depiction, I took it as like Hordak shows up to Snake Mountain, knocks Skeletor on his ass, grabs the Havoc staff, and decides we're going to go conquer Grayskull. And there you go.
Like that other weird, like that one weapon, I thought it was shown in possibly early sketch art, and it was also on the cover of Hordak the Ruthless Leader's Revenge or whatever. Was that weird coily snake?
Yeah,
thing?
that bat. Yeah, that's in the concept drawing too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like that. I like that somebody seen that from the concept and used it for that cover. So that was cool. But well, yeah, thank you, Brad. Thank you for that. Yeah, hold on. You'll be joining in here in a second, Nathan. Because here's one from Adam.
I'm reading the chat and I'm just like, yeah, this is great.
Yeah, exactly. Because I know I can get a smart ass answer probably coming up right here. Adam Gabbert said, Leonardo versus He-Man. Yeah, He-Man's gonna punch the turtle.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Leo. Leo's my favorite turtle, but He-Man's gonna, make.
Well, I mean, Leo is the worst turtle, so I'm sure Raph would have to jump in to like help him take on He-Man.
No, Raph's anger would just have him so mad that He-Man would just step out of the way and Raph runs headfirst into a rock. In terms of sword fight, though, I will say that Leo would put up an excellent fight just in terms of sword fighting, because Leo is, one of the best sword fighters, and I think that would make it an interesting fight. But of course, He-Man would win strictly on strength. But I think he would give He-Man a good sword fight, though.
All right.
It wouldn't be a squash match like some people would want to just, say, "Oh, no contest." Like, no. Let's have some fun with this. They're both swordsmen.
Yeah, I mean, when they're in the world of fantasy, you gotta, of course, create.
It would be like Inigo and Wesley in The Princess Bride. They put up one hell of sword fight. You just want to go back and rewatch over and over and over again. That's the kind of sword fight we'd get.
Yeah,
not Raph just decided to jump in there and be angry and say, "I'm the best of the best" because Nathan says so.
And I think again, Nathan just probably doing that just to
Yeah, I know what he's doing.
He's poking the bear. That's what he's doing. He's poking the bear. But okay, Grimbot, you have a quick. See, these are ones that now the other ones you're doing, I could kind of have a thought. This I never like touching because. Okay, he said Goku versus He-Man. See, this is what's weird.
No, He-Man crushes Goku because.
Of course, I would like to say He-Man. I don't know anything about all of Goku, but good God, all I know is I've seen explosions and debates when this Goku Superman stuff comes up about both fans and how one is written so powerful and another. It's like, man, I'm glad I don't know shit about either of these properties too well because these people are just going insane. So, I mean, just for the grace and sake of this podcast, I'm going to say He-Man. I know nothing about Goku and all his insane powers that everybody says he has. I know nothing about it.
No, my brother was big into Dragon Ball Z, and I saw some with him. I thought was just, I even tried to get into it. I'm like, who am I kidding? I can't get into this stuff. So, no, He-Man would crush Goku with his, Super Saiyan, Insane, and turning his blonde hair into like blonde bananas on top of his head, and he screams and yells and does rapid punch, kick, and all that. Nah, He-Man would just grab a hold, swing around, and throw him up in the outer space.
There you go. And go ahead, join in, Nathan. What do you have to say?
Hey, we're gonna win a fight between like He-Man and Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt easily. I am not familiar with Dragon Ball Z at all. I've seen the debates with Goku and Superman, and I'm just kind of like, I don't care. So I'll go with He-Man on this one. I'll go with Tyler's well-written scenario. He would just grab him by the leg, and even though it probably wouldn't happen that way, just for the sake of it, going for He-Man on this one.
All right.
Sorry, I'm not a fan because I see so many people bringing up Goku all the time. I'm like, God, man, there's just this generation just below us. It's all about Dragon Ball Z, and I mean, more power to them. But I was like, what,
I just know nothing. I know nothing of it. But all right. But thank you for that.
No, my brother would say Goku because he would just say it just piss me off, but he was also a big Dragon Ball Z fan too. So.
All right. And Dan Rice has joined us. Thank you for joining us, Dan. I'll mention something about you and your boy there, Philip, later too. But okay, Carlos Caceres. Oh, Carlos, I hope I said your last name right. I probably butchered it. I'm sorry, but he says he might not have been here at the beginning. He says, "What's your guys' take on the Super 7 Vintage 5.5s and the upcoming Funko Thundercats 5.5s?" Well,
I've already pre-ordered my Thundercat Funkos. I've pre-ordered those already, so that's that I'm just chomping at the bit to get those.
Yeah, because there's 4 of them coming. Then the other 4 will follow. I'm assuming a few months afterwards. But I mean, the stuff that Funko was putting out with those little 5.5-inch from, like I said, I have the Zorns. The 2 different Zorns. I have the Mortal Kombat figures. I want all the horror stuff. I want the Conan. I want the Thundercats. I mean, I love the look and design. Yes, they're meant to look a little squatty. It's inspired by the 5.5-inch style of design of He-Man and figures that kind of followed with kind of knockoffs and bootlegs as well. But so I understand that the reasoning behind why they look like that, which I love. I mean, they are amazing looking. So I can't wait. And as for the stuff from Super 7. Yes, they have great Filmation 5.5-inch ones. I can't wait to see what Hero and Eldor look finally completed. Because I'm still thinking that the ones that were shown on PowerCon were not finalized. We got to have the gold shiny chrome for Hero's armor. You have to. And I do get a kick out of the robot He-Man face for that. So yes, those are great as well. I do. I love how they all look.
Hero and Eldor are. I mean, that's the cream of the crop there. I didn't mind the He-Man. Ironically enough, the robot variant based on Disappearing Act, but I'm burnt out. I'm just saying, like, we've got Filmation and Classics. Now we got to get Filmation and Vintage style. Like, I can't get excited over more variants of characters we've already gotten. So
I would love a vintage Lord mask, an official vintage Lord mask.
And that makes, to me, I just kind of felt like that makes sense because we didn't have Lord mask, but we've already got Taylor, we've got Minerals, we've got Beastman. I don't really need to have them in Filmation form. I almost felt like those first 4 figures we got that are Filmation nods was like a way of kickstarting the interest of doing a new vintage
stuff.
line.
Yeah.
So if that did well, all right, now we're going to give you Slammerite and the Snake Trooper and Hot Shot and Lord Grasp and other characters, not
and
just
Strobo, which you were supposed to get Strobo.
Yeah, Strobo, but no, we're getting another Beastman, another Man-at-Arms, another Tila, another He-Man variant. It's still more of the same. That's why I'm like, it's like a cheap bottle rocket. There's no excitement there. I'm not trying to downplay anybody's interest. I just feel like I can't get excited over stuff we've already got.
No, I know, and I completely understand. And did you want to say anything, Nathan?
I love the idea that they're bringing the 5.5 inchers back. I pre-ordered all the horror ones and the Thundercats ones, and I look forward to what else they plan on doing.
Get ready for Conan. Figures. Remember, they're doing Conan as well. So
I'll pre-order that one too.
I mean, there's no release date for that series yet, right?
No, not yet. But just trust me, something might be. Well, all right. Let me move.
I'm going to go with November just because the horror ones are coming out next month. Thundercats is in October. Let's go with November.
Could be November, could even be December, and especially at the price point of where you buy them, depending if it could be GameStop, Target, any other place, or even online retails, you could range from anywhere from $9.99 to maybe up to $13.99. So nice and affordable. I mean, and yeah, it's good price point as well. And it's good seeing things that are in the store. So there's only hoping that with Super 7 and maybe with Mattel doing their 5.5 inch and maybe even Giants, it'd be nice if there was good prices. But again, that's a wait and see. So thank you for that one, Carlos. Delva 78, I think he's doing one just for a mental picture because right when he's seen it or says this, all I'm seeing is this picture, so I can't even really. It's not really a versus, but he said the Ghostbusters versus Jaga. So yes, I see what you're doing there, Delvis. I can picture Jaga getting pulled in with the beams, the proton pack.
Oh God, get out of here!
Oh, poor Delvis. See, he had to shoot it down. But okay, let me scroll down.
No, I will say this: Jaga's too damn powerful to be taken by the Ghostbusters. I'm not. Just.
I think I know why Joe's laughing. Maybe.
Yeah, there's your winner. Jaga would beat the Ghostbusters.
Well,
I'm not having Jaga being made out to be a schmuck.
All right. Well, thank you for that one as well.
He's being so cute because he's a ghost.
I'm trying to scroll down because there's just a lot of comments. A lot of people are giving you shit, Tyler, about getting you a Chris Pratt T-shirt or it's after Nathan. After Nathan had to say what he said. Now we're getting a bunch of Chris.
He must be in the chat room just saying, "Hey, everybody."
I'm not saying anything in the chat room. But there's like breaking news. Chris Pratt's sending Tyler some tank tops.
There you go. We got to get past that Chris Pratt. All right, now we're going to go to Jason.
Okay, so we're out of toilet paper. I've got some fresh, butt cleansers.
Hey, and Dan Rice said he just watched The Princess Bride this morning with the boys. It's a great movie, Dan. So I'm glad you got the kids watching that because Princess Bride, good ass movie. Jason Lafferty said, I watched the first act of Return of Faker that premiered at PowerCon. And he said, did anybody else see it? And would you want to see more episodes like this? Well, hell yeah, we'd love to. We've said it before, beyond the Return of Faker that James and Dushin are working on, it would just be amazing to see other cartoons.
The Return of Lizard Man.
Yeah, you and your Lizard Man. And even if they were able to take some of the great mini comics that we had and turn them into a cartoon, like we said, Clash of Arms, if that was ever possible. And plus just new episodes. And weren't there a lot of episodes that James showed in his one book that was at the end that there were scripts or things that never got turned into a cartoon? So it'd be great to have those as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And some of them were some decent ideas too. Some of them had titles. Some of them were just ideas. So, yeah, I think that you go through there. I think there'd be a lot of fun to be had with some of those.
All right. Yes. It would. I'd love them, man. Any thoughts, Nathan?
No, I was scrolling through the chat because there was a question that was brought up. It was like Tank Top Tyler versus I can't find it.
Somebody said who would win in a fight between Muscle Shirt Tyler and Hoodie Tyler. That was
there we go.
And Hoodie Tyler?
I didn't know Tyler won a hoodie.
Well, that's the thing. And what he would do with the hoodie is just cut the sleeves off, so his arms are still out.
But I mean, we got to go with Tank Top Tyler. Tank Top Tyler would always win in a fight.
Well, he never wears anything else. I very rarely see him in a T-shirt anymore.
Well, I mean, I wear a shirt. I wear like a polo for work all the time, and
I'll wear dress shirts. Sleeves off.
I had somebody. I had a girl ask me that a while back. It's like, well, I guess you could put the sleeves off or something like that. Well, I'd probably get in trouble if I did that. So,
all right. Well,
it's just I'm just even when I'm at home, it's not in the wintertime, I'm always wearing a tank top. Like that's just what I feel comfortable wearing 24/7. Like if I could do it year round, I would do it just because I'm just so comfortable wearing tank tops all the time. So much now I'm just getting I've got the Chuck Norris and Karate Commandos logo on a tank top, like customizing my own tank tops and stuff like that. So I just want to expand my wardrobe, but the tank tops will always be victorious.
All right. There you go, man. All right. We got Grimbot. Grimbot says, could you hold on a second? I got to drink some water for this. Hold on.
Must be a doozy from Doosan.
Yeah, I guess. What are your worst fears about the upcoming Netflix She-Ra? Okay.
We don't have enough time.
No, again, remember, we've said it before, and they've also said it, the people making it, they like to stress, they say, it's for a new generation, not meant for us. Even though
that's a way of saying, hey, all you, man-childs, right here, buddy.
Which I never like hearing when they always say it's not for you, it's for somebody else. Well, I mean, it is definitely a younger looking and versions of all the characters in general. The worst fear is, hypothetically, let's say it bombed and it got a lot of negative feedback and people didn't like it, and then they will want to take it out on saying, see, She-Ra would not work for fans these days because this cartoon just proved it. That's what would get me upset. It's like, no, this is a new direction and it's a younger version for a new group of fans. Don't say that just because hypothetically if it failed, because I'm hoping it succeeds and could bring back a new She-Ra, a new He-Man, and more merchandising and promotion for this property that we've kept alive for 30 years. So I would hope it would succeed. But if it fails, what scares me is then people say, we had a shot with She-Ra, no more She-Ra. Oh, and He-Man, since he's connected, screw He-Man too. That's the stuff that scares me, is that if it failed, it would reflect on everything that's ever existed, which it shouldn't. It shouldn't reflect that way. So, I mean, I hope it succeeds just so things could build up and generate and bring things back in the limelight and maybe more versions, different She-Ra and He-Man. But again, I don't know. That's just kind of a thought without me going too rambling, but I would just hate for a failure to reflect on everything that we've had.
That's because studios that make a really crappy superhero film, they'll keep the rights and try it again. I mean, Batman has had its fair share of flops. So is Superman and various other superheroes, but they continue to all right, let's try it again. Let's try it again. This time we'll get a new director, new actor, new story, whatever, And yet Hasbro, will put out a version of G.I. Joe and Transformers. That didn't take. We'll try this one. All right. That one did all right. Okay. It ran its course. Now let's try it again. Playmates does the same thing with Turtles. Of course, this one will die a slow or a fast but very painful death. So that one we could be over with, and they'll say, okay, well, that was a mistake. But but with the new She-Ra cartoon, I part of me doesn't want it to succeed because it's saying that this new really uninspired, lazy looking, just flat out ugly, and what looks to be a very teeny bop approach, as opposed to writing the characters like adult women and adult men dealing with the stress of a dictator. They'll probably have like She-Ra going through a teeny bop problems, and Patrick's being, not stuff that, watch the old cartoon. They're not dealing with, Bo would ask me to the social. Well, and then Catcher's like, well, he asked me. You just kind of get that feel, like, not that necessarily going to have that kind of story, but the kind of vibe from it, and the way that, all the people behind the show are so dismissive of all of us, as if like we're just a bunch of, morons who haven't grown up. We're all living in our mom's basement.
But we're also
talking about a cartoon that was 30 years old.
Yeah, but we're also those morons that have been buying all this stuff for all these past years.
Yeah, they're doing this because guys like us and women who share the same support have kept this property alive. So, they ought to be thanking us, because you know what? You wouldn't have this if we weren't constantly showing support on the internet and people doing fan art and customs and talking about it, doing videos about it, discussing the vintage toy line.
When we were kids, we had the ones that looked, like you said, where there was cartoons where there was older looking adult kind of heroes, and then there was also the ones that where there were kids, and there was the funny ones, and we loved it all. But even as a kid, if I was to have seen He-Man look like he was a 13 or 14-year-old boy, and then as Prince Adam, and transform into He-Man but look like a boy, and everybody looked like young kids, I wouldn't even have liked it back then. I always wanted He-Man to be He-Man, and She-Ra, how she looked, I mean, obviously from the get-go, that's how I see them. But I know that they're doing this direction for, they say kids now, and a lot of these cartoons are for younger kids. But again, if it would fail, I would hope that, like you said, they wouldn't give up, that they'd say, okay, now let's give another shot and go this direction. Because some companies, when they do see something fail, if it goes and fails quickly, they're like usually, oh, we're done with it, forget it, I don't want to do it. I mean, that was the unfortunate thing with the 2000X action figure.
Well, and that's strictly Mattel's mentality, because Playmates doesn't do it with Turtles, and Hasbro doesn't do it with G.I. Joe.
Yeah,
and Hasbro.
give it more chances.
Exactly. Well, granted, G.I. Joe hasn't been used in a while, but even so, I feel like G.I. Joe has been given multiple chances, more than Mattel's willing to give He-Man, and Transformers is infinite. I mean, God, how many cartoons have they released in the last 10 years of just Transformers alone? So
just don't give up so easily,
Yeah, and I just kind of feel like if you guys are going to do this, you got to be prepared that if you're going to do something that is not getting the highest praise, I feel like the mass majority that are venting about the She-Ra cartoon, it's not positive. You got a couple of your social justice warriors that want to pop in there and say you're being, sexist or whatever kind of negative remarks, and saying we're not allowed to have opinions that aren't positive.
And they'll say it to, like I said, the men and women who've supported this. But again, since there are obviously different sets of fans from different age brackets, I mean, just look at, like I said, when we talked about those 12-inch dolls that they're showing. Those look like She-Ra, Catcher, and everybody that we remembered in the past, but now in doll form, they're obviously targeting for fans our age. So if they did 2 cartoons, do one for the kids, one for the adults, I mean, hell, then you can make everybody happy. Again, maybe the cartoon, you never know. It could be super successful, and it could lead to a newer She-Ra for us, along with more things. So,
well, and they also said the new Ghostbusters was gonna be great. It's gonna be the funniest movies ever. And you know what? Nobody went to see it. Not women, not men, not Ghostbusters fans. Nobody.
Well, all right. Well,
I'm not saying it's strictly a female thing, because God knows there's a bunch of other movies I'm telling you, it's going to suck. It's going to be bad. Sure enough, it does. And
that happened when that new Total Recall came out. When I seen it, I was like, oh, this looks horrible. This is going to bomb. And God, what a horrible movie, that new Total Recall. So what a weird direction. Do you want to say anything quickly, Nathan?
Look, like, that new She-Ra cartoon does not look good. Just based off of looks alone, and from what you guys have said, the creators of the show have kind of almost outcast you guys in a way. Like, it's not for you, whatever. But what happens if it comes out and it's successful and you guys watch it and you actually like it? Like, where do you go from there?
Well, honestly, I'm gonna, like I said, when it comes on Netflix, I'm gonna watch it. I'm not gonna blindly say, God, this is gonna suck, it's terrible. It's just already looking at the designs, it's obviously just something I'm like, okay, I get it. You said it's for a younger generation. I can see that in how it's drawn. But I am gonna watch it. It'd be great if it has an amazing story. But if it doesn't, then it's just like, well, no harm, no foul. I didn't want to see it or really get into it, so if it sucks, it sucks. But
Yeah.
I just can't picture from how I'm looking at it, me thinking, God, this blows away the original She-Ra and He-Man. Boy, they can't compete with this new one. There's no way I can see myself even saying that. I just can't picture that happening. I can't picture if she's going to have the power that she can invoke. Not only just how strong the woman is as physically, but the other abilities she has. I mean, she's somebody that can heal the injured. She can communicate with animals. Her sword can turn to anything, but she also has a compassion, which is a power, meaning, like when she shed a tear for Hordak, you got to think Hordak has all his, members that work for him, and not one of them cared enough to even, as he's dying, the only thing that could save him is somebody sharing a tear to show compassion for him. That's another powerful trait for somebody to have. You're shedding a tear for your enemy. That's not a sign of weakness. You're actually having this person that hates you and doesn't even want you to be on Ethereum and hopes to overthrow you and get rid of you. She's saving you. She feels so bad that nobody even cares about you. She shed a tear, but she knows she's still got to fight you. And that's not a weakness. That's a strength. And I don't see that powerful woman being represented in this new cartoon at all. I highly doubt it.
I mean, it's already been said to the people who work in the show, they don't have any kind of connection to the original She-Ra cartoon. James, our friend James, has read, the story arc for the first season, said it looks great, but then he goes and says that Swiftwind will be singing and dancing, or sing songs or silly nonsense like that. And, I'm sure James knows a hell of a lot more, and I know James wants it to succeed. But hearing that kind of stuff from the guy that was showing the most support, you can't help but feel like, okay, look, outside of people, maybe they're jumping the gun and thinking, oh, you're judging and stuff like that. But when you got someone like James kind of questioning some of the stuff they're throwing in, that should kind of be a red flag to a certain degree that, what, if it's, I would not expect it to be something that's, I would love to be wrong. And you know what? I will admit it in front of whoever listens to this podcast that I was wrong or whatever, but I sincerely doubt it's going to be something that's, you're going to get behind the voice acting. You're going to get behind the character portrayals. They look like kids, like children. They don't look like adult heroes.
Yeah. It makes sense that there's a lot of hesitation. I honestly, I don't think it'll turn out that great. Kids might eat it up, but as far as the hardcore fans that have spent years and years keeping this property alive, I don't think the majority of them will enjoy it as much. It may differ for them if they have their own kids and their kids really get into it. Then it's sort of like that passing of the torch thing.
Sure, but, that makes sense.
Joe, in regards to your fear of it kind of messing up everything, I don't think that would happen if it didn't succeed.
I would just hope not. It's just like you said, Tyler sometimes said that, companies that when they see a failure, they quickly think, forget it, we're done right now. Well, we'll try in another 15 or 20 years. I would hope I would be wrong, but
but that's Mattel. They're not willing to. Okay, what went wrong here? We know there's a demand for this. Yeah. We know we can make money from it, but why are we so quick? Oh, scrap that! It's just like 2000X all over again.
And that's
Hasbro and Playmates are not afraid to pull the trigger on properties that they clearly know there's a massive market with adult collectors, because you go to Walmart's now, there's a lot of stuff for adult collectors just in the aisles of Walmart and Target. So clearly, if you're a smart businessman and working for these massive toy companies, you ought to know by now that, the kids are fighting over aisle space with the adults as well. So to continue to neglect items that cost more and your demographic that can pay more, it's just like, oh, you guys don't matter. We're more about like the mindless ice cubes and just throwing crap at them and hoping that they'll take to it. And
I'll be honest, I see more of us in the toy aisles than even kids these days. For the past 5 years, I do. I rarely see kids going to toys. It's always somebody that's in their late teens, early 20s, our age. We're always there. We're grabbing up the figures we want, looking through, seeing. It's like, that's where I see most of the collectors. But, well, that's that. We could spend a whole damn podcast talking about that. But this next question from Brad Collins, this one is one that, again, Brad, Tyler's the only one that's going to be answering this, but I don't know where legal things can get into it. That's why this can be tricky. But he said, just touching on Tyler's mini comics again, wondering if Tyler or his artist had considered a subscription type setup like Super 7, so you guys have the funds and can have the freedom to make, say, 2 or 3 more like mini comics. I'll pass it to you, Tyler. I have nothing that I can say on that.
that really comes down to Carson, because Carson's the one who's putting the money into print books, and using his time, because I know money is issue when you're trying to do this, because this is all him. I'm getting nothing from this. I told him when we did this, he keeps all the money. If there's an interest for, and that's something he's not aware, and to a certain degree, I don't know the demand either, because when I post stuff, it doesn't get as much a reaction as I'm thinking it will.
Sorry for laughing. I'm just thinking about all Joe's post. Continue.
Oh, no worries. But obviously there was a demand for the Leech comic, because after I had completed all my copies, I would get hit up by people who either hadn't received their book or wanted to know if there were any more copies. So, there was a demand. I gave away all the copies I had. Carson has sent me a new assortment of the Leech books. So when I get those, if you would like them, I'd like to make sure that Carson gets money for them. So if you have got yet to get a Leech mini comic, I'll give away a few on the podcast for fun, but I don't know how many I got or will be getting. So if you want some, I need to make sure that if you could purchase some, Carson, he sends me your address and I will personally send it to you. I'll take care of all that myself.
And touching on one quick thing for Tyler, just to let people know, Tyler is making $0 from this. He did not ask for any money for anything that's being made. All the money that was, let's say, used for any of the purchases just went to Carson, who's creating and put his time to create the art, print the stuff out. It was no profit. So this is just a labor of love between him and Carson. There is no money being made between either of them. It's basically just for printing purposes and shipping it to you guys out of love. So that's, of course, you're buying it, but you know what I mean. It's covering all the printing, coverings, inks, and all that, and the time Carson did. But yeah, they're not making money on this thing. Just point that out.
So, however, Brad, and I really appreciate Brad's support about this, and my buddy Michael, who definitely asks about the next one too. Carson's hoping to have the Clamp Champ Ninja comic done by October, done completely. Here's hoping. The guy has a family life and stuff like that too. And I heard from him today as well. And
you want to hear one other thing? I was going to say for Tyler. Tyler at one time when he did that Leech comic said, "Joe, would you like a copy?" And I said no. And he was like, "Come on!"
And it just really buried me right there.
And I did. I said that quickly. I said, I want as much money as you. I mean, I want you guys to get the money to make sure I can cut all those costs as possible. I don't want no freebies. So it's how I was like, "Oh, come on!" He's like, "I'll send it to you." But so I've never even read, I think, that Leech mini comic except from the images where he took pictures of it. That's how I was able to read it, but I don't have a physical copy.
I could see Joe's like, Tyler, can you just take pictures of it and send it to me, please?
Yeah, because even though I guess I could have said, well, Joe, you can actually give me money for it if that'd make you feel better about it, but he didn't offer money and instead even refused it for free. So it really just, Joe's twisted soul was just really just giving me nothing to work with here. So I had to take pictures with my phone and send it to Joe so he could review it on the podcast and help the masses, let everyone know that, we did a fun Leech mini comic. But no, if people, if you're interested in more, we want to do more. Carson is constantly talking about it takes him a while to get one book done. So, he's wanting to do a total of 3 or 4 comics based on the movie. There's a bunch of other stories I'd like to do as well, but if there's a demand for that, absolutely we'd be open to doing a pre-order kind of thing or a sub of some kind. But we just need to know that there's an interest there, and it's hard to market it. You can put in all the He-Man Facebook pages that you can imagine, but not everybody takes to it, and so you don't really know until like 3 months later when someone else comes along and says, "Hey, you still got any more of those Leech comics?" It's unfortunate, and I don't think Joe really helped me out a whole lot on much of anything. So,
no, I didn't. So there you go.
No, he didn't. So even when I offered him a free copy. So
see,
but no, it's I really appreciate Brad's support. Anybody in the chat room or anybody listening to this now, if you're interested in more of these comics, you need to let me know. I need to know there's a demand there so I can let Carson know, because Carson's always asking me, did people respond? And it's a couple of remarks here and there, but it's not not like the cult leader Joe gets for posting a sweet potato that looks like Spikor's ass. So I need people to take time to let me know you like that, or you're interested, or you want to see a story of this or a story of that. If you can comment about Abnormal Produce by Joe Amato, I need you to comment that you're interested in reputable stories about characters or mini comics that were botched the first time around, and letting me and Carson give something that we think that you would find entertaining here. So that's all we need, is to show your support, that you want more of these, and that we can keep doing them.
Awesome.
So when I get the next batch of Leech comics in, I'll let you know, and I'll get a few on the podcast as well, and then I'll let people know so they can start sending Carson some money to help pay for the printing and all that.
All right.
Thank you, Brad. I appreciate that, bud.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, Zentron question was, if we were to pick from any franchise, which would you choose to cross over with Masters of the Universe, and why? And God, I mean, beyond so many cartoons and things of obviously Filmation that we know could have happened, or things that maybe were going to happen, there's a lot of fun 80s properties. I mean, things that even went into the 90s, which I'm sure Tyler, and Nathan more know of. But I just sometimes I like doing something to where it's not the typical norm of an answer.
Like Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
God, or just I'm going to say like, hey, I would like in like the Thundercats in cartoon form, or Transformers, or GI Joe. It's like, I think of things that I wanted more of, like such a short-lived series, such a short-lived toy line was Sectaurs. It was so bizarre, these gangly kind of creatures, fantasy-looking, that I think had 5 episodes of a cartoon. I think it was 5. I don't even know if it was slightly more.
It was less than 10 episodes.
Yeah, it was a very short-run cartoon, but it was the only other toy line back then that I used to collect, because even though they were quite bigger in size, maybe had an inch or inch and a half height advantage over Masters and a little more articulation, they felt so damn fantasy. I was all about the fantasy and of course technology and magic and all that, and it was a good blend. I used to always have Zodak Buzz-Off would come, and he would be part of the good guys. I always had them join the good guys when I would play with them and mix them together. So I guess going by from my childhood memories of things I did, Sectaurs is something the hell I might say to some people, and they're like, what the hell is a Sectaur? There's probably in the chat room people like, I don't know what this guy is talking about. But
Joe's calling you guys out. If you know what Sectaurs are, please let the man know that me and him are not the only ones.
Yeah, because I'm thinking there's going to be a lot of people thinking I sound insane, but for me it'd be Sectaurs just because it's something so different and out there, and I know it's not the norm and what everybody would remember, but that's my crossover because it's what I actually crossovered when I was a kid. So still, I guess, a memory, I guess.
I don't like the idea of just throwing anything and just crossing over with He-Man just because you can. That's why I'm not behind the whole DC crossover with He-Man. I just feel like that doesn't work. Just because you got the rights to do a comic book of it doesn't mean you should. Thundercats I think could work. I got a great idea for that. Silverhawks, that would work perfectly. Black Star, Brave Star, Visionaries. I think Visionaries would look pretty cool crossing over with He-Man as well. Sectaurs is another one. But I think that would pretty much. I don't need to see Transformers crossover with He-Man. I love G.I. Joe Transformers crossing over. I don't need really to see He-Man crossover with Transformers. I just kind of feel like it just kind of comes off as kind of cliche almost. And then some people might say Thundercats and He-Man is cliche, but He-Man and Thundercats, those two mythologies mixed so well together. I mean, it could be done. But it's not something I necessarily want to see. I want to see characters that are more similar to the mythology of He-Man. So that's why, even though Visionaries are all humans, I kind of feel like the fantasy elements within Visionaries would be kind of an interesting mix up with the Master of the Universe. And of course, Black Star is very similar. Sectaurs is, Brave Star is, Thundercats is, and Silverhawks. I think Silverhawks would be an excellent crossover. With the Silverhawks landing on Eternia for whatever reason, Monstars after something to take it back to Limbo. The Silverhawks are on the trail. I just got there'd be a lot of fun to be had with Skeletor making an alliance with Monstar and getting Molecular and Buzzsaw into the mix, and Windhammer and I mean, it would be awesome. I'd have a field day with a crossover like that.
No, and it would be awesome. And also, Fedmon did want to mention in the chat room, said Sectars did have 5 episodes. So I guess I did remember that, and 8 comic issues for Marvel. So thanks for popping up to let us know that, definitely. And everybody in the chat room, I hope you know Tyler on Facebook. If you don't, try to find it. But yes, send him messages, because Tyler, you're having people that are quite interested in wanting more of the mini comics. So just send him a message.
That's what I need to hear. Anytime I post stuff, it's like, God, man, Joe makes me look like just a dork.
No, it's just
Send me remarks. Send Carson. He's on Facebook as well. Or when I post stuff about it, respond. But yeah, send me messages. Any kind of support you have, that's what I need to know, so that way I can let Carson, because Carson has no idea on the support that, it's all like, I try to tell him something, but I need people to be vocal about it. Let me know you want to see a Festo Jitsu story, or that you want more, so if we don't have that, we don't have that kind of we just need that extra push. So
definitely message him.
Well, how about this, Tyler? If you're okay with it, in the description below when the show is done, I can put your email address in there just for this episode. That way these guys can email you and contact you and let you know, like, hey, I would like some mini comics.
Yes.
Yeah.
Etc.
Email me. That'd be great. Nathan put that in there. Facebook Messenger. I respond to that pretty quickly. Or just post on my wall. I don't know. I only use Facebook. I don't use Twitter or Instagram or any stuff, because
try to get him with Facebook or the email. That's definitely the way. And
I'm simplistic in that manner.
Yeah, and Jason Bean, you are correct. Jason Bean says Sectars are coming back. They had a Kickstarter thing for it, and Zika Toys is the one that did it. And yes, they look great. They're not going to be the big 6-inch or like slightly over 6-inch. They're 3 3/4, but they look freaking awesome. They were well backed and supported. So yeah, Zika Toys is at least going to give you a Sectars fix for those who have never seen those things before. But yeah, they're pretty cool. 3 3/4. And let's see. I just wanted to. See, damn it! If Nathan had to mention that tank top and shirts and shit, because now all these variants of Tyler, tank top Tyler, in different versions. Oh my god!
Yeah. How about a He-Man variant with tank top armor that gives him the power to impress at the gym? Tyler, what would your thoughts be on that kind of He-Man variant?
Oh, I am looking at a tank top with the Battle Armor logo with the slash across it from Redbubble on a gray tank top. So, and I actually do have a Battle Armor tank top that I grew out of when He-Man.org was selling the logo shirts and tank tops. So they were selling like the Cyclone radar and the Faker tape recorder, but I do have a medium Battle Armor He-Man tank top that I outgrew and looking to get another one at some point. But yeah, a Battle Armor variant would be fantastic. Unfortunately, they don't make gym tanks like I like to wear to the gym with this stuff on. They got to put stupid stuff like, I don't know. They just don't put anything cool or masculine on any of them, or it's just like a generic logo or something like that, that's why I had to make my own at one point, put Axel's artwork on some of the tank tops. But that'd be great. That'd be awesome. I'd love to have a Battle Armor gym tank to wear to the gym. I mean, that'd be kicking some serious ass in the gym.
Yeah, that would I love seeing any type of shirt, from tank tops to regular shirts, that just has some cool designs beyond the typical bland or just something.
Yeah, I'm so sick and tired of just the generic Filmation, Filmation He-Man, or these people are coming up with abominations of I have to shower or I have power or hipsters of the universe, just coming up with all these really lame ass ideas of just using the He-Man. Shoulder,
put Earl Norem and put William George and Errol McCarthy and Alcala. Get some of the stuff that we've seen that's freaking awesome before and pop that on a shirt. I mean, it's Eric Amon, who you remember. I got that gigantic throw that he sent of an image from, I think, the PowerPoint Dread. One single image sometimes just can be breathtaking, especially the one there's scenes you love so many, whether it's a certain image or seeing something from a poster. I just like the card art. Certain mini comic. I mean, hell, every piece of some of the Alcala mini comics and Mark Texera, you could just take the panels in each of those and they could just make their own damn shirt themselves. It's like an endless supply.
Yeah, God, I mean, just the card art, the mini comic art, the mini comic covers, hell, even the art from the 10 lunch boxes. of He-Man and Roboto attacking Skeletor and the Lancer. Put that on a tank top or a t-shirt.
And that's the one side you usually don't see. Usually people are showing the other sides. But yeah, all those are great. But and Blake Cabrera, what's going on? He said, hey, so what's going on, man? Thank you for joining us in here. And also Pradish. Oh God, I probably butchered. Well, I hope I didn't butcher the name, but thank you for joining us. But well, Tyler, I was gonna now pass it to some of the questions you had from Facebook, and then I'll say some ones from Facebook as well.
I think I only got one more.
You had one in a group. Wasn't there a group chat one that we had?
Oh, okay. I said for some reason I was thinking you were going to read that one.
No, I'll let you do that one.
You will?
You're like, you will? Thank you, Master. That didn't sound.
Joe is the cult leader there. So
no. That's not how I meant it. I didn't mean it to sound like that. Yes,
I know what you meant, you prick.
Yeah. Right.
Let's see here. I'm trying to
get sweat out of my eyeball.
Wait.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember which.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I don't. Here, I'm trying to figure out who was it that sent it to us. I'm drawing a blank here.
It was Anthony. It was in a group chat. Group.
That's what I'm thought. I can't find it here.
I'm just scrolling to the part where I
had. Oh, wait, here it is. It was listed as something else. That's why. Okay. Here it is. All right. This is Anthony's question to us. Anthony Robb. He says, we wake up one morning, open our curtains, and see Marty McFly sitting in his DeLorean outside your gaff. I'm not sure what a gaff is. I'm assuming it's home. Could be toilet. I have no idea. He says, Joe, Tyler, we're going back to the future. So you jump in, and he takes you back to 1982, and you arrive in a car park outside a Toys R Us. Master of the Universe Wave 2 has just landed, but as you dig around in your pockets, you realize you've only got enough money to buy one item from each wave. So we're going back to 82, and we will go through 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, and we are only allowed to purchase one toy. I've already got my list for particular reasons here, but I'm curious to know if Marty McFly realizes, why am I taking these guys back in time when they ain't got a dime to spare? They've got like $3 in their pockets, $5 maybe.
Well, I'd have a smorgasbord.
It's cruel for Anthony to do that to us.
What is it, like a smorgasbord in case I had money and I went back to talk about all the food I could get? But no, now we're talking about figures.
Oh yeah, Joe says, hell with the food, man. I want Hill's popcorn.
No, Hills. No, they had the best chili. They have chili cheese nachos. That would be supper.
Oh my God! Only Joe would be eating chili cheese nachos from Hills.
My God, it was the best.
I wonder if Joe went to the Radio Grill when Walmart used to have restaurants in there.
I did not, but man, when Hills closed down, it was like a knife was shoved in my heart because on Friday that was my supper. It was Friday. Shut up, Nathan. Friday was supper time at Hills because going to get those chili cheese nachos. Oh God, it was the best chili. But okay, well, let's get back.
Do these guys know about your thrifty tips in regards to the chili and the cheese?
I usually don't tell them about poor Joe on the show about.
Okay, food. All right, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I might do it at the end. But when it comes to Wave 1, well, I have to get He-Man because I have to have He-Man. But I know my first figure was Beast Man, but I'm going to get my He-Man. I got to get that. If that's the one character I had to pick out of Wave 1, I would go for He-Man. Wave 2, I was debating between Triclops and Trapjaw like crazy, but I had so much damn fun with Trapjaw. I used to take that string, put it through the hole on top of his head, and have him doing the zip line just like how they advertise. So I'm going Trapjaw. Wave 3, again, it's because I love the gimmick of it. Webster was just something about that damn grappling hook. It was the coolest thing. I would swing it just like this, and I don't know if it was me trying to copy He-Man of the cartoon. I couldn't even remember, honestly, but I used to swing it around and throw it on top of Castle Grayskull and then zip line them up. It was just one of the funnest features for me as a figure back then, but I would go that. Wave 4, it seems like I'm picking a lot of Evil Warriors at times. Yes, I know I started with He-Man, but Too Bad was just too damn cool for me. I love the bulkiness of them. I didn't have the flatback one. I didn't even know there was a flatback till years later when I think one of my buddies had, and I thought he had. I was like, is that what happened when it breaks? I thought he like broke his back, and then it was
That's
like,
the one I got for my 4th birthday was the flat back tube.
no, really. Well, he was so massive with that front and back for the big one, and I'd like him just punching people, punching himself. It was a fun gimmick, but Wave 5, that one I'm going to have to give it to probably. Oh Jesus! See, sometimes I'm going by memory. Sometimes I don't know if I'm going by. I love Snout Spout. I can't help it. I love playing with Snout Spout. I loved not only just to squirt, the water to knock the enemies down, but I told you it was my killing the spider thing. My sisters just hate spiders, and when I heard that shriek of a scream, and they're older than me, I knew what that meant. And I'd run into their room, and sure enough, there's a spider on the wall in the corner. They're telling me to get it. And if we didn't have a broom, I would just fill up Snout Spout and squirt into that corner of the wall, and bam, it'd fall, and then I'd smash it. So I love my Snout Spout. But Wave 6. Damn. Oh, it's like put me on the spot. I love Snakeface. I've always loved Snakeface. I'm gonna go with Snakeface. Yeah, I just gotta do it. I liked his gimmick. I'm just thinking of just things I enjoyed a lot. But I'm gonna go with him. I'll say Snakeface. Now, were we going past those waves, or were we? I couldn't remember how much further.
That's what Anthony gave us. He gave us.
Stop
he
there.
wants us to go through 87.
Okay, because all right, because I was almost going to put in the Energy Zoids too with Snakeface. I was like, no, I got to pick one, and I like that. I like being put on the spot, so that's what I just have to pick. Just going from favorites and fun that I have. Yeah.
Okay, for me though, this is going by Martin McFly pops up outside my apartment right now. So I go back and go after what I desperately wanted from those waves that I did not have as a kid. So wave 1 is going to be Beastman because I desperately wanted a Beastman because I had He-Man and Skeletor, I had Teela, I had Man-at-Arms. Didn't have Stratos, but I eventually would get Stratos in early age, but I never had Beastman. So Beastman would be who I go after in the first wave. Triclops would be from wave 2 because he was my favorite of the original Evil Warriors. I desperately wanted him so bad because of the Crosszilla artwork, and he was my favorite of the Filmation villains. Wave 3 would be Clawful. Yeah, because Clawful to me is the most like just imposing, intimidating, and badass from a physical standpoint of the Skeletor. As a kid, like he was just that imposing to me. I just thought, God, this guy is so tough. Like just looking at him. Next would be for Wave 4. I pretty much had everybody that was released for other than Modulok. Modulok was the only Horde member I didn't have. I had Spikor, I had Stinkor, I had Cyclone. I didn't have Mossman. Mossman. I take it back. Mossman. Because I remember seeing Mossman once at a friend's house, and I just thought, oh man, this guy's just unbelievable. And I had stories that had Mossman in it, but didn't have Mossman. So probably just strictly from the child desire standpoint, I desired Mossman more than Modulok, even though Modulok is my favorite Horde member. Mossman for Wave 5 or Wave 4. Wave 6, Snout Spout, because I desperately wanted Snout Spout and just knew him as the elephant guy as a kid. I just thought he looked. And when I saw him in the Christmas special advertisements, I thought, oh my God, there's that elephant guy. So yeah, and then the last wave, Clamp Champ, because Clamp Champ was someone that I took notice of on the card back when I got the Faker figure, and obviously in the Search for Kelder mini comic. But the Crosszilla artwork is what sold me on him, and I thought there's a heroic black character in the He-Man toy line. Like I gotta have this guy. Where is this guy? Who is this guy?
My brain exploded when that wave came out. Like I told you, I got some money for my birthday. My mom took me to the mall, and she said, "Okay, let's go do some shopping." And you never knew back in the day when anything new was coming. You just prayed. I just remember walking into that hobby toy store in the mall, walking towards where the He-Man section was, and there was everything sitting right in front of you with Ninjor and Scareglow and King Grandor and the Sorceress and just all. I was like, I couldn't even comprehend. All I knew is I just remembered. You seen the new, Blister. You seen a character you never knew. It's like, oh my God. And then Clamp Champ, oh my God. And you're just grabbing everything. And I had just enough money to get them all because I think they were like $5.99 at that hobby toy store back in the day. And I felt like I was rich for my birthday that I got, I think it was $50. Wow, man, that was what a fun birthday, and it's hard to pick a favorite in that way, just because, damn, it was just so fun grabbing every single one of them suckers.
You know, it ain't enough that I've heard this story so many times on this podcast and outside the podcast. But I tell the story as like I didn't have these as a kid. So you have to come along and tell me about the story, how you got not one, but all of them that I wanted as a kid, but you got them all in one fell swoop. And just Joe,
And I
just no
passed
matter
on
what,
Faker.
Joe still manages to find some damn way of. I think I managed to get to the mountain, and I don't know. I guess the banana peel comes flying at me, and I slip on it somehow. I don't know how. You can't question these kind of things because you don't know how this happened. And Joe somehow manages to come in and say, "I'm better than you."
No, it was just
Yeah.
what awesome. I mean, that for me, it was just hyper excitement. I loved anytime you seen something new, but just to know that, oh my god, and I looked and I had the money for all of them. Not that I'm rubbing it in, but I just remember I was like, oh my god, I can buy all of these. And I remember seeing Faker, I was like, I got Faker, I already got Faker. So I just passed him to the side.
Yeah, threw him off to the side. I'm too rich for that. I don't need that.
Peach Pops.
Joe, I think you and I were a lot alike as children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
you guys
just
got everything.
obtaining all these things that Tyler never got as a kid.
Yeah, well, I'm standing outside with my little beret, my suspenders, and holes in my pockets, and both Nathan and Joe were like, "Oh, mommy, I would so much really like to have the Eternia playset." Why, sure, darling. We'll go in there. We won't even put it on layaway. We'll just go buy it right now with all your pocket money. Throw it in the back trunk, and then we'll go down to Target where here they have this wonderful Thundercats layer. It's on sale right now. Oh, mommy, yeah, I didn't even ask for it, and you're just giving it to me right now. And I just walk down the street with this cloud over my head. Hands in my pockets, but I can't even actually put it in my pockets because there's no damn pockets in my pockets.
I'm still hoping that one day I'm just gonna come across an Eternia playset really cheap somewhere at some yard sale in town that they just don't know what it is and they're wanting to get rid of it, and I buy it for I don't know, like $5. I'm like, hey Tyler, look what I got. And he's just gonna throw up right there.
Yeah, and that's when I just grab the nearest rope I find, tie a nice noose, and just jump out the window and hope I don't crap all over myself.
All right. Well, hey, now Zentron, he put in something. This is just a quote, and I think he's trying to screw with me. He said, "Spent part of my day watching War Games and Short Circuit." He said, and this movie quote popped into my head. And I know this one. I told you, Zentron, you're not going to be able to stump me no more with Friday the 13th. He said, I think you should run that through your little computer. Yes, that's what.
Oh, yeah, Friday the 13th, part 4.
That was part 4, and that's what he said to Teddy. That's what Jimbo said to Teddy. So, yeah, when he had the panties. So, you ain't going to get me. I told you, Zentron, you're not going to get me on Friday the 13th no more. But, okay, well, I got one more question, and this one, oh, man, it's going to rack my brain. I hate that. I always say, I always usually get Tyler and put him on the spot. Well, somebody, Gino Ritchie on Facebook, gave this question. If you were to rank from toys to comics to cartoons in the movie, which was your favorite and to your least favorite? And I then specified because I asked him, I was like, okay, when you're talking about comics, are you talking about mini comics, books, what? He said, this just basically put all the comics books into red literature and then cartoons all into one thing. See, I was like, well, that's kind of tough again. He's like, you could split the cartoons if you want. I said, okay. So, well, I guess my favorite, I was going to go favorite to least favorite of all my canons, of all masters from one thing to another. For me, it was the toys first. I love the damn toys. And he did mention art as well. I love the toys just because, I bought them suckers. I played with them. I used my imagination to create stuff. Then actually the art, I kind of almost want to put second because it's like the art drew me into buying a lot of the toys. And from whether you're looking at the box art or you're looking at stuff on the back of the figures or the posters and everything, it's like each piece is like telling a story. You had to use your imagination just to do that. So I would say that. Now, you would think I would go cartoons next and rank those, but I read before I watched cartoons, and I had the mini comics and some of the other books. And I love seeing, don't get me wrong, I love seeing He-Man on the big, on television. Love seeing She-Ra. It's great. But I liked using my imagination again, even after reading the comics, like further and making more adventures. And I just like seeing and looking at them. Then it came to the cartoons. And of course, I love Filmation He-Man, then Filmation She-Ra, then MYP. then New Adventures. That's where so New Adventures is on the bottom of my cartoon list. Not saying it sucks, and that's how it has to be, but mine.
You can say the cartoon sucks, just don't say the idea the mythology sucks.
Yeah, no, exactly. Just know that. No, so then I put that there, and then and it took me a while to come across.
With intensity.
No, it took a while for me to come around to watching the movie more as I got older. So the movie is the last of all the canon. So between the toys, then the art, and the books, and the cartoons, and all that in the movie again. I
felt a hate crime coming on.
As a kid, I hated the movie. I started enjoying it more as an adult, but I still, out of all of those, I'm putting the movie last compared to the art, the toys, the comic, / books and literature, and the cartoons.
I'm just waiting on Tyler to be like, you didn't deserve to buy that entire wave that one day.
Yeah, in fact, Joe didn't deserve any of it, because he's just like, oh, I'm so much better at this. I'm going to play video games, and I'm in the chicks, and so I'll steal their belongings. And, he turned to a life of crime and video games, and here I'm just like, can I have a snout spout? Does anybody have a snout spout I can trade? Like
that elephant guy.
Yeah, the elephant guy. And whereas Joe's just you and Nathan just having all this stuff just dropped. It's just loads of toys and dropped at you're like, oh, well, I'm not in the mood for that today. I'm going to play the Sega Master Drive beta system or whatever.
What?
This Joe always like
and,
brag about.
Just to say, He-Man World. Oh yes, the MYP cartoon is fantastic. He-Man World said MYP cartoon is the best of the series to you. No, and I can see that. I mean, it's a fantastic.
Say what, Captain African? You're gonna have to come on and discuss that. That's a bold statement, man.
Well, you do yours now of all the stuff. Remember, it's literature, art, merchandise, cartoon, movie.
All right, Captain African. I need to know, what do you prefer more, the movie or the 2000X cartoon? Now that put him on the spot.
All right.
The toys are what got me started, so I wouldn't have my passion for it without the toys. I'd probably put the literature last, only because, not to say, because every bit of it had a major impact on me. All of it did. There's not a single bit of what we've just been asked to discuss that did not have a major impact on me. All the cartoons had an impact on me, all the mini comics, all the golden books. So this does not, this is not like Joe where he says, oh, I just didn't like it. No. All this stuff was beloved by me, cherished, reread, rewatched over and over, played with. Everything got used multiple times over and over and over again. So it probably would have to start with the toys, and then the Filmation cartoon, because that led to that's what they kind of went hand in hand. Then the movie, and because the movie still to this day has had such continuous impact and effect on me, and I just studied that film left and right, all over the place. And is there 5 elements, Joe?
Well, he wanted kind of the cartoons. That's when I seen it dissected, where he almost wanted the cartoons ranked. That's why I said, well,
okay, well, cartoons ranked, Filmation, and then She-Ra. He-Man, She-Ra, 2000X, and New Adventures, strictly because the New Adventures cartoon, I like the mythology behind New Adventures better than 2000X, but the 2000X show, in terms of the storytelling and the voice acting.
Well, we had the cartoons ranked the same. We at least ranked the cartoons the same.
Yeah. But no, the mythology in New Adventures is superior to 2000X, because New Adventures doesn't have that King Grayskull lame-ass idea in there, and connecting Fisto and Tila and Man-at-Arms all together and all that nonsense. Okay, and then
you have the art, then you have the movie, and then the literature.
Okay, I'd probably, to me, the art, I couldn't read as a kid, so the art was what I went by when I looked at the mini comics.
It sucked you in, though. It did, yeah. That art sucked you in.
So to me, I can't separate the art from the comics, because up until I could actually learn to read, I just had to look at the pictures and tell the story through that.
Well, the reason I separated, he wanted to separate, is posters, box art, everything. Because remember, the art of Masters of the Universe is just so powerful and vast from everything. So that's what.
I really, and I appreciate this question, but for me, I guess based on I'm coming along as all this stuff is winding down, so it all has a massive impact on me. When I'm picking up Cyclone at Hills and I see the Errol McCarthy art on the back of it. And I'm looking at the minicom and the presentation of the exploding rock with Cyclone standing there with this lenticular sticker. It's a package that I'll never forget picking up, or getting Rio Blast, or picking up He-Man and Skeletor for the first time at Kmart in the kind of dump bin size table of. Yeah, I can't really separate it all because it all came together so close together. The
that's what I mean. I guess from what he said, so at least you said first, you said the toys, and then you said the cartoons, but then the art is its own entity. So then now you have the art, and then you have the movie, and then you have what the hell did I just say? I lost my train of thought.
And the literature, like the
stories
themselves.
Exactly.
But that's what I'm saying. Art. Like for me, I had to use the artwork to read the story, so that's why it's hard for me to. But
as of now,
for the sake of argument, I'll say the toys, Filmation cartoon, the live action movie, the artwork, because seeing like the Jitsu Night Stalker box art on the top shelf at one of the toy stores at Tanglewood Mall, I'll never forget that. And then learning to read the stories, because that was the last thing that came along. So,
okay, all right. Well, I like that ranking as well. And Nathan, I didn't know how in depth with Masters you are, but I mean, do you have a choice if you could choose from at least your own, personal experience?
All right. Well, the chat's probably gonna completely hate me, but when it comes to Masters, I would, as Tyler's kind of defined it for me. I would say I'm casual fan, maybe just a slight grade above it. I'm not gonna be.
Just hang up now, could you please just disconnect?
Yeah, there's the door.
Goodbye. Like, what the hell? He's like, I'm a casual fan.
No, to Nathan's credit though, like Nathan has shown interest in watching the cartoons and the movie. Has sought out some of the toys, like particular characters. He is actually, of course, he'd like to slam it just to piss me off. Like
I'm just giving him a hard time. That's why I'm here from his side.
Nathan, since we became buddies, he has had an appreciation for He-Man and knew that it was cool, and that the mythology in it and the heroes and villains.
Well, I've despite giving Tyler hell when we first became friends over it, I have a history of I did have a collection at one point as a kid that unfortunately was sold off at a yard sale. But I remember watching the cartoon. I just don't have many of the vivid memories, because as that sort of came along, like Tyler said, we were sort of at the tail end of this thing. And by the time I sort of started, Turtles kind of picked up for me, and that just took off. So I wish that I had gotten more involved with it and got into it more. But as Tyler said, I've come around to it a lot more in recent years. I appreciate the mythology. I love the artwork. The artwork's, I would rank that up there, honestly, pretty high.
That'd probably go as Nathan's first, because that is something that Nathan has always been attracted to, and just recently he purchased the Horde poster from the magazine.
Sitting right above Tyler's head. I have that exact same poster. I just put it into a frame. I need to get a black background to go behind it though, because right now it's just the white backing that came with the insert that was in the frame. But I would probably put art up there first, just because for me that's what drew me into it again. Was just seeing that. I would go ahead and rank the movie up there pretty high too. So
all right.
I would say look at Ty. He's like, I'm so proud. He's just gonna start crying.
If I had a diploma to give to Nathan right now, I'd hand it to him, and I would want to give a great speech and just say, we're here to honor this great man here today.
I think this is his way of kissing your ass after insulting you earlier. It's like, what can I say to make Tyler real happy? Well, I think
I'm gonna hold it to it. I don't want to hear that he's just pulling a Benedict Arnold on me here, and he's gonna be a turncoat and say, "Oh no, I was just saying that." By the way, and then insert Chris Pratt joke here or something like that. No, I believe he's being sincere when he says that, though. Yeah.
All right. Well, now he has the merchandise, the toys / merchandise, the literature, and the cartoons. What after those?
I would go with toys next, then the cartoons, and then the literature.
Oh, so you put literature last too. Okay. All right. Well, that's fine. Oh, and He-Man World in the chat. He did say that it is the movie. Yes. So if he has
of course. Yeah. And that's why we love He-Man world on this podcast because of his extreme support. And if you want to see that kind of support, check out the recent He-Man documentary. You'll see He-Man world just talk about the greatness and wonders of a movie that continues to be underappreciated, but it's continuing to grow on people. And as we point out people for being morons and saying the idiotic things they have said about the movie, and they all see the light. That's what we're the ministers of truth on this podcast here.
And I always I like being put on the spot. When somebody put me on the spot and make me do that definitive answer, it's hard at times, but hell, it makes the wheels in your head spin and start turning and thinking and trying to do some type of order. So I always appreciate it. And also, DJ Donnelly, thank you for joining us. And Kyle Kendall just joined us in the chat room. And I was going to say, Kyle, if you have a question you want to give us before we wrap it up,
see if we can get like one or two more questions, and then we'll just let's go out with a couple of a couple more zingers or something like that.
If there's anything you guys
cap it off.
We'll do two more questions if you guys have two more questions, but. You go ahead. And Zentron, really quick anyways, said animation-wise for Zentron was New Adventures, She-Ra, 2000X, and He-Man.
Ooh.
Right?
He put Filmation He-Man last?
I think that's what he did. If he's meaning from best to worst, I think, Zentron, you can always clarify that if that's what you meant. But that might be, hell, like you said, there might be people that love New Adventures more than anything.
Oh, I'm all about... putting New Adventures at the forefront of anything because it's heavily underappreciated, but to put the Filmation He-Man dead last.
Hey, it's,
wow.
One quick thing. Anybody else? I showed a quick little thing of it, but I have my Oracle, and everybody has an Oracle figure.
Yeah, what's with that product placement you kept shoving in front of the cameras?
This is one I've had, like I said, a while. This is an extra Oracle eraser. And I painted it up because it just came in a really bland color. But as a kid, this Orko actually was my Orko because he fit in with the figures and looked smaller and looked like he fit in better than the gigantic Orko that you stuck the thing in for him to zip around and spin. So, yeah, if you guys have extra Orko erasers, I'd say paint those little suckers up because they fit in good with the vintage. So
that's his way of saying, Joe, we'll paint yours for a fee.
No. And no, Kyle Kendall, we will do, maybe next week we could try it, or if it ain't next week, in 2 weeks, trust me, we'll try it, because we might be doing this on a different, we are going to be doing this next week on a different day. It'll be on Tuesday. I mean, not this coming Tuesday, but the following Sunday when we normally record. Nathan's going to be busy at that time, but Tuesday of that following week, we'll be able to do Fans of Power. So it'll be 2 days later on the next week than normal. So Kyle Kendall, yes, we will do a collection tour eventually, but it won't be this next one. It'll be the one following after, I think. But we'll keep you posted. I don't know. I'm just trying to remember when we tried to do that. I was trying to think of what would be next.
Well, remember we got Danielle said she would join us too after PowerCon as well.
Yeah, but now if it would be on a Tuesday, I don't know if she'd be able to do that day.
Well, I'll check. I probably not this one, but I always assumed it was going to. Well. Yeah, I assumed it was going to be at the Labor Day one, but yeah, because I had forgotten that Nathan was going out of town too about that. We'll just get in touch with her. We'll get her on.
Yeah.
I remember she said she had family stuff going on that too.
Exactly.
So
we will get back with you on that. And also, real quick, Dan Rice. I did want to mention something. Dan Rice earlier today, he showed some videos online on Facebook, and it was so cool. His son Philip, the one that I love, giving a hard time about Stratos with.
Oh, yeah, like picking on him about his love for Stratos. That's when I would take Joe and shove him in the locker.
I know I'm rotten, but I like seeing what he showed because he found a lot of videos that Philip was doing to where he was playing with his figures, but then also record himself, and he was making, certain chapters for each one. Like he'd record, then edit, and do it again and again and again. At the end, it said to be continued. But it started off where you heard him go, making a wind sound, and he had shadows flying around Castle Grayskull to see Manny faces, and just a kid's imagination running wild. You could actually just remember when you would do stuff like that when you were a kid. So that was really cool to see. So Philip, I did want to say, man, you did some cool videos. I like what you did, and definitely I can see you love Stratos. And Alex, you get your hand, arm, you get that better. I know he heard it. He's gotten a cast. I think he's going to be having that on for X amount of weeks. I don't know, but you'll be back and you'll be stronger than ever, buddy. So get yourself well. Now, let me see. Was there any one last? Adam Gabbert said, Joe and Tyler, do you like other cartoon shows besides He-Man and She-Ra for the 20th century? trying to think of anything else that I really got into. As I told you, it wasn't many things. Though I see when it comes to cartoons, that's when I always pass it to Tyler and Nathan because they've watched everything that you could possibly can imagine. You bring it up, I know they're going to say they watched it, but like, okay, well, I might as well just go to Tyler then Nathan, and then ramble about the stuff that I didn't watch. But go ahead. Well, Nathan, how about you? Why don't you start off first, and then Tyler can.
Oh boy. Gee, I all the stuff that Tyler and I have done on Capes and Commentaries were lots of things that I watched as a kid. Tyler can, I mean, we can riff off the list of just pretty much basically. Joe, you weren't really into anything else?
Okay, well, like I said, I mean, of course, growing up, then I watched He-Man, but then.
Oh, that's when the chicks and everything came along, right?
Well, yeah, after that, but I mean, before that, I was watching, I don't know, Scooby Doo and Looney Tunes and oh, I love Dungeons and Dragons, damn great ass cartoon that they didn't give us the final episode. I can't say it enough. Do a Kickstarter. I think they had the audio of all of it, but they didn't animate it. The kids were gonna make it home. You were gonna find out this twist at the end about Venger, which I'm not gonna say in case there are fans of Dungeons and Dragons and have not bought that DVD box set. I don't want to spoil anything, but I was like, damn it, Kickstarter, do something and just animate it in that style that they used to have and give us that final episode. Well, damn it, I wanted those kids to go home. Because that one time they made it home and Venger followed them and he threatened to destroy their world unless they came back and they had to come back. I was like, damn, because I thought they made it home.
I think this has been about 3 weeks in a row that Joe has brought that up.
It happens every time. And Dan Rice, it's good to hear. Dan Rice said that they got them erasers too, and I guess they do the same thing where they use the Orko eraser as their Orko for their figures. So good. I'm not alone. Thanks for saying that, Dan. At least I'm not as nuts as I usually sound, and people say I am.
But yeah, I mean, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Turtles, Batman the Animated Series. Man, even some of the newer stuff like Justice League Unlimited, the 2012 Ninja Turtles cartoon was really good. I mean, Tyler's gonna say like Silverhawks and Dino Riders, the Rambo cartoon, which we talked about. He's super into that. Tyler, is there any other? I already say Silverhawks. I'm pulling a Joe here. I'm like, what did I just say?
Yeah. Yeah, outside of He-Man and She-Ra, Thundercats, Silverhawks, G.I. Joe, Turtles, Bionic 6, Batman Animated Series, the Rambo cartoon, of course, X-Men, the Spider-Man Animated Series, Spider-Man's Amazing Friends, the RoboCop cartoon. I never came across the Dungeons and Dragons episode except maybe once or twice when it was on CBS and didn't really know what it was. And my brother ended up recording part of it by accident on our Christmas cartoon tape and always pissed me off. So I would always see the beginning of one episode attached to the beginning of Frosty the Snowman. But and then there was other cartoons. Real Ghostbusters was another one I watched.
Yeah, I can't believe I left out Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Street Sharks.
Oh, I did. I watched Ghostbusters.
Yeah, Ghostbusters. God, because there was so because I still love to reminisce about just all those cartoons were so much better. DuckTales, I watched that one. Count Duckula.
Darkwing Duck.
I didn't watch Darkwing Duck as much. I thought it was a cool concept. I just never got into it.
Gargoyles.
That was another one I thought was cool. I just never really kind of pushed myself to really get into it.
The Mighty Ducks. I don't know why they did. I don't know. I didn't either. I don't know why they made that one.
Yeah, I just felt like I didn't think the movies were doing that well to warrant a cartoon, but oh well. Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers. I remember watching that. Tiny Toons was another one I watched a lot every day after school. The Super Mario Brothers cartoon and the Zelda cartoon. But watched both of those every week.
Oh yeah. Hell, Alf! Yeah. I loved Alf, and
I watched both the sitcom and the cartoon. I love that cartoon.
It had a funky intro too. I don't know if you guys haven't seen that in years or haven't before, but you can always check that on YouTube later after you're done watching us. Just type in Alf cartoon intro. It has got a funky little intro. I used to love that.
I vaguely remember it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it, but yeah.
Heathcliff.
Right? Yeah, Heathcliff. I watched that. Inspector Gadget, Looney Tunes, which I still watch to this day.
Yep, Inspector Gadget, Flintstones, everything.
Flintstones, the Jetsons. I watched a lot of Hanna-Barbera. There was a show that Hanna-Barbera that used to come on USA Cartoon Express because it was they would play syndication stuff. But it's one where all the Hanna-Barbera cartoons were in races. And
Is that Wacky Races? Wacky
yeah,
Races?
Wacky Races. Yeah, when that would come on
yeah.
the USA Cartoon Express, I would watch that, and I thought it was a great show.
Hell, I
Scooby
even
Doo.
like Scooby Doo, Smurfs, Gummy
Yeah,
Bears.
Smurfs
I
was
even
another
watched.
one.
I even
Yeah,
watched
Gummy Bears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a lot. I guess it just took a little battling, but yeah, there was a lot of things I watched. But then later on, once it started getting towards late '80s and early '90s, yeah, I was just done with cartoons at that time. But and Jeff Prime just joined us a little bit ago. Thank you for joining us. If I didn't mention that already, but okay, Zentron had a quick one. This one, and I know Tyler will probably have a definitive answer, but for me, it's just I've never liked the thought of this stuff. He said, if He-Man was to be killed, how do you think it would happen? For me, again,
What?
yeah, for me, like the same thing. Any cartoons and things I was watching, see, that's the difference. Comics, cartoons, that's our escape from reality. Especially, like I said, I'm not just saying if you had some bad things happen in your childhood or rough times and maybe you want to escape into another world, which that was a lot. I mean, it was a lot for some people, for like, going to Eternia and the hero always saved the day. And for me, I never seen or wanted to see my heroes age and die. That's why they're cartoons or they're comics. Unlike people, when you're watching a live action TV series and it gets to about season 10 or 11, if it makes it that long, and the people are getting older, or some people outgrow their part if they're a young kid in a show, it's called real life and aging. And you love this, you love your characters, but eventually real life people, they're going to age, they're going to go and fade away. And it's a sad thing to even think about. Cartoons and comics, that's my one escape to where I don't want to think about these people aging. I don't want to think about them dying. I want to think about them being eternal and going on to live many adventures of good versus evil. Yes, there's got to be times when they're under strife and under danger, and you got to make it, like suspenseful. But I just never liked the thought of characters dying. If you can keep writing it and keep making it enjoyable, I'll do it. I'll watch it. But no, I don't like the thought of. I wouldn't even want to think of He-Man, or anybody like that dying. I know people do it, but I just don't like it.
I have a smart ass answer.
Oh, let's go ahead and do with that one then.
All right. Well, as we, Tyler even kind of brought it up. Chris Pratt shows up, says something really smart ass to He-Man, and then He-Man just falls on his sword. He's like, I can't do this. And Tyler's like, yep, I couldn't either, man. I'm right there with you. There's the smart ass answer that Joe's been kind of wanting out of me.
Yeah. Tell my family I love them and just.
Yeah.
If anything, I'd put it in my mouth. So it's like tell Joe to go on the podcast without me. Yeah, just do it. Just do it.
It's like
I'm hoping the blood from my brain just goes all over Chris Pratt's face, and he's got to live with that guilt the rest of his life. He'll play go home and kill himself too.
Wow. Yeah. I'm kind of thinking William H. Macy from Boogie Nights. You know what scene I'm talking about?
Yeah. I know
something similar to that. All right, go ahead, Tyler.
I'm with Joe for the most part. If for whatever reason, just for the sake of argument, if He-Man were to ever pass on, it would just be due to retiring, and he's no longer He-Man. He's King Adam, and just dies of natural causes. Like I wouldn't want to see a scenario where a villain comes along and stabs He-Man and kills him, or uses magic to just obliterate He-Man into non-existence. A great warrior like He-Man deserves a warrior's death, and I think to live to a ripe old age where he has defended Eternia as He-Man for a long, long time, and you could even say maybe when he's King Adam, continues on with the mantle of being He-Man until it gets to the point where you need this responsibility either needs to be passed on to somebody else, perhaps his son Hero.
Shut up.
Yeah. So, but no,
Joe's starting to hold his head now, like, oh
I
God,
know, I was
not
waiting
this.
for Joe to say, God, this guy's got an ego on him. I was just telling Nathan about that very thing today. That Joe just hates my ego with a passion. Maybe that's why he's just constantly trying to find ways to topple me all the time to show that he just takes a little a needle and just pokes the balloon of my ego. Just.
Well, I was about to ask if there was any more air in that room to breathe, since your ego was kind of sucking up all the space.
I can always make room for my ego. But no, I strictly see He-Man is continuing on infinitely, much like how you see Spider-Man and the Green Goblin. Of course, Norman Osborn is dead in the comics, at least how I like to look at it, even though they brought him back. but like Batman the Joker, Superman Lex Luthor, that these battles would just continue to go on and on. But that's the only way I would want to see He-Man pass on, is he retires officially from being He-Man when he's, King Adam, and probably realizes, you know what, I'm getting a lot older for this. It's taking a toll on me. I need to pass on the responsibility to someone else, or just turn the sword into Teela, because people forget Teela is going to be the next Sorcerer. She's not going to rule Eternia with Adam, So, which to me that makes an interesting story, that Adam would give up being king, and decide to take up resident in Grayskull, and say, you know what, I spent all this time away from the woman that I love, ruling without the Queen Desire, and if she's going to continue on in Grayskull as the guardian of Grayskull, then you know what, I'm going to spend my remaining days with this woman here, and then the throne gets passed over to a possible son, or someone that Adam decides, you know what, Clamp Champ, you've been a faithful warrior and a loyal companion. I'm going to turn the throne of Eternia over to you, or to Fisto, or to Cyclone, or to Lizard Man, or whatever the case may be. But that's the only way, just for the sake of it, I would ever want to see He-Man pass on, is just, you know what, I'm going to go and be happy. And when I die, it's going to be with the woman that I care about. God, man, I could pull at the heartstrings of the public if they just give me the opportunity to write He-Man, for God's sake. God, man, I just pulled that right out of my ass.
If there was any way, I guess, of old age. Otherwise, it's just something I would not want to see. It just would be, even strange, like within cartoons, there's so many cartoons that have been on the air for years and years and years, and you see them as they always are, but how strange would it be if they made them age every year you've been watching them, and then they're kind of older and it looks weird? It's like, no, I like some characters how they look, how they're always supposed to be, but just some I don't want depth. But I could see, like I said, old age, something like that, great. And wait a second,
Joe's like, whatever.
No, Dan Rice had to pull one last little poke before we get off here, but he's like, would he be the new King Grayskull? He says, would you go for that, Tyler?
That son of a bitch.
That Dan Rice got to get you.
God.
All right. Well, okay. Well, guys, it's been an absolute blast. And of course, even Nathan joining in, even though he was just like, playing around and sticking his finger in the light socket to see how many times he's going to get shocked. And we do still appreciate having you and your opinions as well. And
that was basically Joe's way of like, all right, we're never doing this again.
No. It'd be great to have you on again. But no, as for everybody in the chat room, man, it's been a blast. I know, like I said, we could do this again and have a ton more questions. I tried to get to every single person I could, at least for the majority of the questions. I apologize if I missed anybody, but no, it's been a blast just covering every single question that you had.
Yeah, this one, I think this was the best one we've done so far. We've had a lot of a lot of support in the chat room, which is what we wanted to really go with. And I thank everybody for taking time to show up. Whether you asked a question or not, if you just showed up and just wanted to be part of it, I thank everybody for doing that. This was, I think this was a success, and I'd like to think that we would do this a lot sooner instead of waiting another year or two before we do this, because I think this is the way to go. Just had to do a live chat responses and questions.
Because new questions could pop into their heads at any time. Other people could join the chat room as well. So this is something, like I said, we could do more often than just once a year. We could even do it, you never know, maybe every 3 months, 4 months. It depends. We'll see how it goes out. But we'll do it more than once a year. But again, we hope you enjoyed the show. It was great. We loved having you. And I didn't know if you had any closing things you want to say, Tyler, or if you pretty much that was it, and we could wrap it up, and then I'll tell everybody what they can do.
I'll just say, check out He-Man World. Check out Kevin Sharp's artwork. Check out Axel Jimenez's artwork. Check out Joe Amado's customs. If you like what we have to say, you like hearing our voices, check out Beyond Retro Podcast, where we discuss movies of the 80s and 90s and television shows and video games and everything in between. If you like or just cartoon talk, check out Capes and Commentaries, where me and Nasty Nate will do commentaries of classic 80s and 90s action-oriented cartoons, from superheroes to Rambo.
We're going all over the place with that show.
Yeah, just, why hold back? We plan to do Silver Hawks after Batman as well, too. So just show you, we're going all over the place.
All right.
Even outer space. Let's see. And then, and if you like the many comments that me and Carson are doing, please continue to be vocal with your support by, sending me something, sending Carson something, or just post it on social media. Let us know you're into that. We hope to have Danielle on the podcast here soon. I'd like to have Captain Apkin on with us again and sometime in the near future here as well. Hopefully we'll get Axel on at some point too. By the way, Motu Matt was at PowerCon, and he took a video of Axel telling, or for me, it's telling me I need to be at PowerCon. So that was the first time I'd actually had heard Axel talk to me verbally, publicly, or with his Hispanic accent. Tyler, you need to be here. I'm like, man, that was so cool of Motu Matt taking a little video because he heard about the call on the podcast, so he was a devoted listener to that. So I appreciate him doing that, and I think it's really about all I got to say in regards to that.
All right, and I did want to give a shout out to, it was Alberto Campos. He did a live tour from PowerCon just the other day, and it was pretty cool. He was going through every single vendor spot. It felt like you were actually in PowerCon as he did this, and I told him I was going to give him a shout out and thank him for doing that. So it was really awesome. It was good to see it live. So thank you for doing that. It was as close as I'm going to ever get to a PowerCon. It was watching a live tour and feeling like I was seeing it through my eyes. So I appreciate you doing that, man. But as for here, you can always, like I said, subscribe at the bottom, ring the bell so you can be notified anytime we go live, and share and like the page, and check us out on Facebook. Fans of Power is on Facebook as well. I have a page there. But yeah, it was great having you. So all I wanted to say was until next time, have a powerful day.
You get that way when you drink ginger ale? Oh no, he was sniffing glue in the parking lot.
Huh. Sniffing glue. Oh man, I hope it ain't something that I've recently watched and I sound like a moron. I don't know, and I'm gonna see if somebody can get that in the chat room. I don't know what the hell that is. If somebody doesn't get it in about 30 seconds, yeah, you're gonna have to give the answer. So far, nobody is. Usually, somebody will pop up with that quick. Sometimes it's JSP who was getting those quotes, but could you say it one more time?
You get that way when you drink ginger ale? No, he was sniffing glue in the parking lot.
Damn it, I don't know. Oh, I want to feel. Oh God, please don't let.
Well,
it be
you and
something
Nathan
I
have
watch.
both seen this movie because you guys have told me many, many times you've seen this movie and you like this movie, and it is a comedy too.
Do you know it, Nathan? Oh wait, I should wait a second. Kyle Kendall said Mallrats.
No, but good guess.
Nope. I punk out. I don't know what you have to tell me.
Kingpin.
Oh God, yeah, it's been yeah. I have seen that. You're right. And I have seen that many times, and I just don't remember that. I don't even remember.
I thought you're a true fan. What a loser.
Yeah, I'm a phony. I'm a fake. So
No, I imagine Tyler just goes through and it's like, all right, I'm gonna hit him with the Kingpin quote. IMDb scrolls through the quotes. Oh yeah, that'll be a good one.
Well,
Oh yeah, because while I'm sitting here in front of a live YouTube feed,
No,
I'm using my
you do it-
desktop over here.
No. You do it before the show. You get it in.
It was all right here.
no, I definitely know it is definitely. But
Yeah.
well, you got me, man. So
Believe me, Nathan wants to challenge me on that. I will burn his ass if he wants to throw down about movie quotes.
there you go. See you guys next time.
Later.